The Yah righteousness, Jerusalem, and the Holy See. Peace, everyone. I hope everybody's in excellent health, best can be, captivity, wherever you are, and wherever you will be when you hear this. Today's February 22nd, 2014. Peace to all of the national audience and international audience and whomever hears this Q&A to the session that just completed today. I want to say this before we go any further. It's a show that aired on Democracy Now! The 21st, Friday, yesterday. When you get a chance, you should bring that up and look at it. It's a piece on there about this Israelite brother. I'm sure he doesn't know he's an Israelite. I'm pretty sure, but he's a scientist, and he discovered that this substance called atrazine is being put on corn, and it's having an adverse effect to people who eat it. It causes, like soy, can cause the non-growth or non-development of one's sexual organs, gonads, and what have you. But like I said, watch the show. You'll see how this brother was attacked from this discovery that he came out with. He was attacked by the corporation that creates this atrazine. They attacked him professionally. They attacked him verbally, and they threatened him. But you should watch it. Democracy Now! Yesterday, like I said, 21st of February, 2014. Also, many of you probably heard about, if some of you anyway, probably heard about these bankers. It's about 20 or a little better than 20 bankers that have come up, dead in the last month or so. Possibly over the last couple of months. They say these bankers have committed suicide in various places in the world, Europe, I believe here, some of them. But, it's my mind that they very well could have been gotten rid of by the powers that be, the higher ups, because they know too much. And they, it's hard for me to fathom that you've got 20 or so bankers who have all committed suicide. Okay? I don't believe that, right? I don't know that, but I don't believe that. So, all of you who've been, listening to today's session, and I know earlier during the session, Yeshaya and Yedida and I were on the phone. Yedida, she thought I had made an error about Athaliah, saying that Athaliah was the daughter of Ahab. Because in the book, when you read it, it says in one place that Athaliah was the daughter of Omri. So for all of you out there that might have heard, when I said that, and you might have been confused, you just go into a few other places and it'll tell you that Athaliah was the granddaughter, in essence. It's only in my concordance of the Bible that I have here. It's probably in some Bible dictionaries, possibly. But she was the granddaughter of Omri. Ahab was the son of Omri. That's over the 10 tribes. And from Jehoshaphat mingling with Ahab, joining forces, as we've spoken of way back in the past. Those of you who are privy to the book, you know that Jehoshaphat almost got killed going to help Ahab. And, Ahab got killed shortly thereafter. And on Jehoshaphat's coming back to Jerusalem with his army, Yah brought prophet out. And through the prophet, Yah said to Jehoshaphat, how can you love those who hate me? In other words, who hate Yah. And since he had done that thing, made that alliance with Ahab the idolater and the 10 tribes who were steeped in idolatry, that Jehoshaphat would have wars. We see later on when you read the book that Jehoshaphat, again, his son married, took the wife of Athaliah, who was the daughter of Ahab and Jezebel. We see that his son rose up and killed all his, brethren. And, just a lot of intrigue, right? And for those of you who heard the session pretty much in its entirety today, from back at the beginning, near the beginning, this person put up the last session on the Q&A about trying to substantiate going out on the seventh day Sabbath with 2 Chronicles chapter 23, which, I explained about that in this session, at the top of this session. And again, we always have to look at the situation when we're reading the book of the time that we are dealing with and what was going on at that time. And again, that was a coup d'etat, more or less, that Jehoiada, the high priest, orchestrated to remove Athaliah from being ruler in Jerusalem. And she had been there for 6 years. As they had hid Joash, the last of that seed royal that wasn't killed by Athaliah. She did the same thing that more likely she instigated her husband to do, kill off the seed royal. That's the iniquity that the people were in. And during those 6 years that Athaliah was ruling Jerusalem, she wasn't about Yah. The people weren't about Yah to the greater extent. So, it was Jehoiada's mind to do this, to coup her on this. It doesn't say seventh day Sabbath, but I'll give them that. That's more than likely what it was, because I believe it was the seventh day Sabbath myself. But he cooed on the seventh day Sabbath, and he possibly did it, on Yah's holy day, for whatever his reasons. Possibly, he felt as though Yah would be with him when this, when they did this, and that they would succeed, which they did succeed, and got rid of Athaliah. But again, let's not get it twisted. That still does not confirm and substantiate that we're supposed to go out on the seventh day Sabbath, because that's a no-no. We're supposed to be at rest. But again, the people were doing whatever they were doing. The people on the whole were not in harmony with Yah. Just like we see, as I mentioned, that last verse in the last chapter, in the last line in the book of Judges, most everybody was doing what was right in their own eyes, like we see many people doing today. Of the children of Israel, specifically, who've awakened to the fact that they're Israel, they don't see clearly, and so they're intermingling their ways, parts of Christianity, parts of Judaism, with the way of the Most High, and they're off. That's why they haven't gotten the illumination from Yah in a clear, lucid manner. where they can discern the picture and see the events that have taken place, are taking place, and is going to take place in a clear manner and a continuity that allows one to see the picture clearly. Now, as I mentioned in this session, it's a show that aired here. It's a brother here that does shows. And he had a show that came on after we did this show. Came on like the next day, the next morning on Tuesday of this past week. And I listened to his show. I mentioned, about this brother in the session that just played. But I also, when I watched his show this past week, he said some more things that, since we're here, I'm going to mention this now. He mentioned how Abraham should be thrown out of the book because Abraham is a fictional character. And he predicated that on because Abraham married his sister. He had his sister. They had the same father, him and Sarai, right? Different mothers. But he says, according to the law, that warrants death. Which, again, according to the law, it does, right? But we have to take into account what was going on during the time of Abraham. And when we actually scrutinize that, we see that Yah told Abraham to leave away from his kindred, okay? His brethren, his people. And I take inference from that Abraham was similar to myself and many of you and the majority of the children of Israel today, wherever we are. We're roots out of dry ground. Abraham wasn't raised in the knowledge of Yah. And I say that because, again, if his father had been about Yah, then it wouldn't have been any need for Abraham to get away from his kindred, his brethren per se, because his father would have raised all of his house in the law of Yah. That's not indicated. So what's indicated and implied is that somewhere along the line of in Abraham's life, as it has been with me, and I know many of you out there today, we found out about Yah. And that's how I look at Abraham. Somewhere along the line, he found out about Yah. And when he found out about Yah, he turned to Yah with all his heart and all his soul. He already had Sarai as his wife. And he did not put her away. This could very well be, again, Yah takes all of that into consideration. Again, I just cite you Ezekiel chapter 18. And that could very well be why, why Sarai, it was so long before Yah actually opened up her womb and gave her a child by Abraham in their old age per se. As Sarai says, when she had ceased with the manner of women, having menses. This brother also states that Yaakov is a fictional character, and he should be taken out of the book as well, because he broke the law in taking two sisters to wife, which it is a law against that, right? But as we talked about in the past, when you actually discern that situation, we see that Yaakov was tricked by his uncle into this situation. As I have said in the past, I have no doubt that Leah, as it tells us in the book, who loved Yaakov, he deceived her as well. He knew she loved Yaakov, and he more than likely he told her something, in regards to how he would, have Yaakov take her to wife. But I'm certain, because he was deceitful, Laban, he didn't tell her the real reason why he was actually going to engineer this union between her and Yaakov. And we know from the book he engineered it to get another 7 years of work, labor out of Yaakov. And as he eventually had to tell Yaakov after 14 years, when he couldn't deceive Yaakov anymore, and he had to break down and actually tell him the truth, what did he say to Yaakov? I know from experience that Yah has blessed me because of you. And again, we see what Yah did to Laban because of this deception and deceit that he plotted and planned and executed against his nephew and his own daughter. But we also see, because Leah was totally about, being a wife to Yaakov, which meant that she was totally complicit to Yah's law as Yaakov was, that Yah blessed her and opened up her womb continually and gave her many children, 7 to be exact, and then also allowed her to bear by her handmaid. But again, Yaakov, not knowing that this was Leah, he had worked 7 years for Rachel, and not knowing that this was Leah that he went in unto, because more likely than not, as I said in the past, she was veiled. And when he had sex with her, and possibly, they had thrown him a feast that says that, so possibly he was slightly inebriated. I'm not saying he was drunk. And then with this anticipation that he had anticipated, for Rachel for 7 years, he went in, and not having any inkling that his uncle, his mother's brother, was going to deceive him in any way. Because again, this is his mother's brother, and his mother was upright. Rebecca, totally upright. As I've mentioned in the past, you don't see anywhere in this book where Rebecca did anything inconsistent with Yah and against Yah. Okay? That's why she was chosen by Yah, as we've indicated in the past, as the book so indicates. So when he was deceived, when he went into Leah, Yaakov, and had ejaculated in her, had intercourse, and it was revealed to him that this was Leah, that's why she was hated initially, because now he understands he's been deceived. And we see that in the book when he approached his uncle and brought this to him. You have deceived me. Okay? But also, he knew the law. He had had intercourse with Leah, so now this is his wife. But again, he worked 7 years for Rachel, so he was given her too. And that's how that came about. But we also see that Yah did not break his covenant with Abraham, and he did not break his covenant with Yaakov, whose name he surnamed Yisrael in chapter 32 Genesis. And as we see in Leviticus, as Yeshaya and Yedida and I talked about during this last session, Leviticus chapter 26, verse 40. And this Leviticus 26 verse 40 is very pertinent, because this is the only place that I've seen, that I know of, and if any of you have seen anything like it, or like put it up in the room and let us know, and the rest of us. But this is the only place I know that where it speaks, where Yah speaks in this manner, just this way. And I'm going to read this Leviticus 40, and I'm quite sure many of you, if not all of you, are aware of the 26th chapter of Leviticus and what Yah says about, what would happen to us if we served him, and then what would happen to us if we didn't. And when you get to verse 40, you see what it says? If they, I'll pick this up at verse 39. And they that are left of you shall pine. That's where we are today, to the four corners of the earth. And also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers. Okay, and again, this is similar to what it says in Yeshaya chapter 40. Okay, it reminds me of 40. I mean, not 40, but 53. Yeshaya in the middle, talking about the middle passage, when it says, when you shall make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pledge of Yah shall prosper in his hand. Again, when you shall make his soul an offering for sin. Well, who is it talking about? It's talking about these ones who had done no violence. There was no deceit in their mouth. They didn't know they was Israel. We're talking about the middle passage. That's when you hear me say the middle passage, that's referring to. All the way to this day, the children of Israel who were cut off, who never knew they were Israel, the ones specifically who have died, they had done no violence. There was no deceit in their mouth, but it pleased Yah to bruise them. Okay, and that's the ones we're asking Yah, those of us today, to take their soul as an offering for sin and turn his heart back again to his people. Those of us who are totally turned to him, submissive and committed. But again, it says when we confess our sins, those of us today, okay, similar to what it says at the back end of 53, Yeshaya, when it's talking about this seed of David, which is applicable to all of us, right? When it says he shall bear the iniquity of the many. Well, we've sinned just like everybody else. And this is what Yah is referring to in verse 40. It's talking about if we shall confess our iniquity and the iniquity of our fathers. See, we've got to confess our iniquity and the iniquity of our fathers, right? With their trespass, which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humble, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity. Again, we have to accept of our punishment. And you know, I see many of us, as I have done at different times, struggle against accepting my punishment. You know, I liken it to those of you who read the book of Ezekiel. You remember when Yah took Ezekiel up into the vision, and Ezekiel says he went in the heat of his spirit, you know, like he was struggling, you know what I'm saying? When Yah was taking him to Jerusalem in this vision to show him what was going on in Jerusalem. He went in the heat of his spirit. He was fighting it, you see, at first. Okay? And that's how I look at, you know, what this is implying. We have to accept of our punishment. Again, you know, and I've mentioned this in the past, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 11? Jeremiah 30, verse 11, when Yah says we shall not, he's talking about Jerusalem specifically, okay, there. And he says, you shall not altogether go unpunished. Okay? Again, he's specifically talking about Jerusalem there. All right? Again, as you see earlier, in the earlier part of that chapter 30, Jeremiah, Verse 7, alas, that day is great. It is even the time of Jacob, it says, trouble, right? But they shall be saved out of it. Those of you who've heard, me in the past, I've said in the past at different times that should say and did say Zion, like it says later on in the chapter. When it says they shall say this is Zion, that is cast out, that no man seeks after. Okay, it's talking about Jerusalem. So it did say and should say, alas, that day is great, it is even the time of Zion or Jerusalem's trouble, but they shall be saved out of it. Again, this is the next movement, Ezekiel 16, to be taken back, set in the midst of its sisters, that dwells at its right hand, Sodom and her daughters, or the brothers that's down in Dimona, right? And the sister that sits at the left hand, the so-called Palestinian Samaria, right, being brought back to their former state, to be a comfort unto them. So this is the next movement to go back. Again, the daughter of Babylon, the world is in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. And daughter of Babylon, United States of America, people here in a lot of trouble. We see that, don't we? Economic collapse, environmental collapse, ecological collapse, we're in a lot of trouble. But Yah says they're going to be Jerusalem, right? Zion is going to be saved out of it. Okay? But again, we not going to go altogether unpunished. Verse 11, right? It's also in that same chapter, Jeremiah chapter 30, where it mentions in verse 9, talking about the seed of David, whom Yah says, whom he shall raise up unto thee or the people. Raise up, as I've said in the past, not bring down from heaven, right? But raise up out of the dust, not out of the grave 6 feet under. Let's not get it twisted, right? But out of the dust, because Jerusalem's got a double curse on it. It's the lowest of Israel, the descendants of Jerusalem, because it's a double curse. Jeremiah chapter 16, Yeshaya chapter 40, right? Isaiah 40 at the top. And so, again, coming back to this verse 40 in Leviticus 26, and I'm going to pick it up, matter of fact, not at verse 40, because I stopped again at verse 41 at the end, right? And we have to accept of the punishment of our iniquity, the iniquity and transgressions that each and every one of us have committed in our life. But again, I cite you Ezekiel chapter 18, right? And I'm going to pick it up again, verse 42 in Leviticus 26. Then, you see that? Then it's similar to, right here is similar to Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 2 and the first 2 words in verse 3 in chapter 30 Deuteronomy, what Moses said to our forefathers, right? That then, okay, you see this here in 42nd verse? Then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. Now, you see what Yah is saying here? He's got it in reverse. It's not Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham. Abraham. You see? So, again, this covenant is still intact. So when people start talking about, you understand, Jacob is a fictional character, Esau popped that in there, he didn't exist, Abraham is a fictional character because they broke the law. Again, you got to look at the time and see just what took place surrounding these two people and anybody in regards to this book. You got to look at the time frame, what was going on, just like that situation with Athaliah when Jehoiada conceived of this coup, this plot to knock out Athaliah and put the seed of David back on the throne, who was Joash at the time. And again, Athaliah had been over Jerusalem for 6 years, so the people wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. You understand? Because generally, as the head goes, so go the people. Right? Again, you know, I cite you 1 Samuel, which I mentioned in the last Q&A for January 6th, the Q&A for that. And all of you should go, if you haven't listened to that Q&A for 1/6/2014, you should listen to it again. If you've listened to it once, you should listen to it again. Okay? The last Q&A for January 6th. Now, you know, you have to be, you have to be careful when you start reading this book and you become abreast of the law, and then you see things that different ones who were blessed by Yah, led by Yah, but they sinned here or there. And remember, always remember what Solomon said, there is no man that sins not. You know, you've never had anybody that hasn't sinned, you never will. I mean, it's always going to be sin to some degree. Okay, that's what we're in the process of doing, restraining sin. Sin will never end, but we're restraining it and putting it into a minuscule level, and you know, into a microcosm, you know, microscopic scale, if you will. And you know, doing our best to, like, you know, when we do sin, they're minuscule, and far, we want to make them as far and few in between as possible. Okay? And eventually it will get like that. You know, we will get like that. Where sin will be minuscule, but it's always going to be sin. And remember again, 2 Chronicles chapter 7, when it's talking about, you know, the first temple and the successive temple, the second temple, okay, even though, you know, Yah never came into that second temple, as we've said in the past, that Zerubbabel and them, you know, finally built and completed around 515 BCE. Yah never came into that temple at all. Okay, but he's going to come into this third and last temple, as we see in Malachi chapter 3 at the top of the chapter. And remember what it, in that 2 Chronicles chapter 7, what it calls the temple. What is it? It's a house of sacrifice. That's what it is. That's what goes on inside that temple, Yah's house on earth. Okay, and you can see that, you know, in Ezekiel chapter 40 through 47. Okay, and as it says in different places, as you see in chapter 48, Ezekiel, Yah will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever in his temple on earth. Now, just here the other day, it was also brought to us about how you get some people, and this same person that I was just talking about that has said that about Abraham, about Jacob. Okay, you know, I've said in the past how he says that Saul, David, and Solomon, they're all fictional characters as well, right? But he's also said that there are no feast days and no Sabbath days. He said that's all, you know, Esau put all that in there as well. You know, I've also heard him say, you know, there was no parting of the Reed Sea. That's all fable too. Okay, but again, he says that's not Jerusalem over there. I've heard him say that. You know, because this person doesn't do the 7-day Sabbath. Like I said, he says, you know, there were no Sabbath days and no, you know, of that nature. Right? And no feast days. He just said that on this show I just watched a few days ago. Like I said, Tuesday, I think it was, this week. But he's also said that you know, that's not Jerusalem over there. Okay? Because he says, according to the book, Jerusalem is supposed to be desolate in the sense that nothing is supposed to be there. No one and no buildings, nothing. It's supposed to be totally desolate in that manner where nothing is there and nobody. Okay, well, it was just brought to us a few days ago where you've got some other brothers who are in the land. They're saying that that's not Jerusalem. Okay, that Jerusalem, or should I say, where Yah's house was, is around Lake-ish somewhere. Okay, and they supposedly in this video, on the internet they've got up, they show you where the house of Yah was, and it's totally barren. It's just a little pile of bricks, and that's what they're saying, right? Okay, well, again, we're in total disagreement with all of that, because when this was brought to me, I just again pointed out about Daniel chapter 11 verse 45, and again that vision starts at 11:36 Daniel in the 11th chapter, and when you get to the 45th verse, again the king of the south, that's Islam. That's how we understand that. And Islam, as it says there, Yah says that they would set their tabernacles, plural, in the glorious holy mountain between the two seas. And as I've said in the past, okay, that king of the south is Islam, and we can see, as it's been for centuries, well over 1,500 years. Well, no, not that long now. I take that back. Over 1,300 years, get close to 1,400. 1,400 years is right around that time that the Dome of the Rock, sitting atop Mount Moriah, where the first two temples of Yah sat, the same foundation, right? And the El Asa that sits not far from the Dome of the Rock, the two Islamic edifices, monuments that the Muslims put there, right? Between the two seas, okay? Again, Jerusalem sits between the Mediterranean and the Dead Sea or Salt Sea, right? So it's sitting there between the two seas. Prophecy fulfilled, right? But also, it states as I've just mentioned, I think it was in this session or in that Q&A. I know I mentioned in that Q&A I just mentioned in the Q&A for 1-6 that everybody should listen to 2 or 3, 4 times, okay? And really listen to it well. But as it says in Micah chapter 5, at the back end of the chapter, and Ezekiel chapter 11 verse 18, that when Yah brings the Jerusalem movement back to Jerusalem in regards to it being Jerusalem, the representatives of Yah, the servants of Yah, the ones that, Yah has this special covenant with, as is spoken of 6:10. And as we pointed out in the past, Yah makes plain throughout the book, in Numbers chapter 8, chapter 18, for killing the firstborn man and beast of Egypt. He took the whole tribe of Lewi to himself. And he made a special covenant with Zadok and his seed forever. And this is mentioned in Ezekiel around the 42nd chapter. 42nd, 44th chapter of Ezekiel. And with the seed of David, David and his seed, he's made an everlasting covenant with, right? Again, 2 Samuel chapter 7. So that's Jerusalem. And bringing Jerusalem and reestablishing it in Jerusalem. When this movement, Jerusalem movement, is brought back by Yah through the elite of the earth, the kings, right, the queens, different Gentiles who are knowledgeable. And we see that in Yeshaya chapter 49 and chapter 52 at the back end in chapter 60, 61, and 62, right? When he brings this movement back, doesn't it say at the back end of Micah chapter 5 that we will get rid of the images, the graven images, the standing images? It also says in Ezekiel 11 verse 18, when he brings us back, we will get rid of all the images there, right? So that's also another confirmation that Jerusalem is going to have people, it's going to have monuments built to these idols that have, and these religions that have been set up by man, right? So it's these type of confirmations in the book that confirms the fact that when you see where it says Jerusalem was going to be desolate, it's not implying that it would be nothing and no one there in Jerusalem. Okay? Plus the fact, as again in that 2 Chronicles chapter 7, Yah accepted Solomon's supplication. And in Solomon's supplication, he specifically says, if we sin against thee, O Yah, and you scatter us out of the land into the nations at some point, if we bethink ourselves and return back to thee. And returning to Yah means you must embrace the law. That's the only way you can return to Yah. You must embrace his law with all your heart and all your soul. Deuteronomy 30 verse 2 again, right? And also this in Leviticus chapter 26 verse 40, that then Yah would hear, he would remember the covenant that he made with Jacob, with Isaac, and with Abraham, as it says here in this Leviticus 26, as it says in other places, but it's in reverse, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Israel, right? And those of us who would return unto him, embrace the law, and have become submissive and committed to it with all our heart and soul, he would bring those of us who did that back. All right. And it says in that Micah chapter 5 that when he brings it, it would be in the midst of many people. Doesn't it say that? Like a dew on the grass that tarries, nor waits for any man. Okay. So again, when people say that Jerusalem, that's not Jerusalem because people are over there, you know they don't understand the book. When you see the word desolate in reference to the land, in reference to Jerusalem, when you look it up, you get you a good strong, a strong, should I say just a strong exhaustive concordance. You'll see when you look up that word desolate in all those different places that's in reference to Jerusalem, that's in reference to the land, it doesn't mean where it's going to be no one there. It doesn't mean that nothing's going to be there in regards to edifices or monuments. The word desolate, that's taken from the Hebraic term, it can mean ruinous, which it is. It can mean drought-ridden, which it was, and it's near that now. It can mean desolate of Yah, which it definitely is. It can mean desolate of anyone there who's really about Yah, which it is at this time and has been. Okay, for centuries. Matter of fact, well over 2,500 years, because we know that basically you didn't have anybody about Yah when Jerusalem fell in 586 BCE. That's why Yah destroyed it by the the Chaldean Babylonians, right? Nebuchadnezzar. And it can also mean that too, to be destroyed, desolate in regards to being destroyed. You see, but we do know after Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem per se, tore down the wall all the way around it, right? Burned down the house of Yah in 586 BCE and burned down many of the princes, if not all the princes' houses, the great men's houses, right? It was still some people there on the land. It's always been some descendants of Israel on the land. Okay? But again, we were cut off. Again, Yeshaya chapter 6, right? Hosea chapter 6, right? Which is again indicated in Daniel chapter 12 at the top. uh, Ezekiel chapter 37, right? Yeshaya chapter 44. Okay, we were to be like dead men, dead women walking. Okay, you know, Yeshaya even talks about that in the book of Yeshaya when he says he's been talking about today and when Yah would pour his spirit on us and we would start to awaken to the fact and CRC 53:10 Yeshaya, and you know, we would start to awaken out of this zombie state that still the majority, and I do mean the majority of Israel, are still in. We would take on these different names, just like, you know him as Abadia in the room, but his name, he's taken on the name Yeshaya, as others have taken on the name of Yeshaya. Isaiah, right? Resurrected that name. And what did Yeshaya say? You know, you should live with my dead body. He's just talking about how he knew his name would be resurrected. Doesn't Yah say that in the book of Yeshaya, in chapter 44, that we would awaken and take on names, resurrect names? And doesn't it say that in the 44th chapter of Yeshaya at the top? So these, you know, that's what these things are talking about. So again, like I said, we have to discern the book. We have to discern the time frame of when Yah said different things, of when different things took place. Okay? Because again, we have to be, those of us today have to be punished for what we have done. Again, Solomon, and I've spoken of this before, chapter 11 in the book of Ecclesiastes. What did he say? Again, this fictional character that this person says never existed, right? What did he say? No, the wisest man ever to be on earth or ever will be. What did he say? Know for a surety that whatever you do, even from your youth, you shall be brought into judgment for it. See, because again, you'll have people say, well, you know, Yah understands why I did this and why I did that. Yah understands everything. There's nothing that Yah doesn't understand. The thing is that we have to understand. Each and every one of us has to understand our way, how we got here. Just like you heard me say in the Q&A of 106, right? January 6th, the Q&A for that. You heard me talk about how when Yah illuminated me to what the movement, the name of the movement, his movement had to be. Also at the same time, he's illuminating me that this book has to be followed. This roadmap, Genesis through Malachi, has to be followed exact. Again, I cite you Deuteronomy chapter 4, where Moses said to the children of Israel, what did he say? You shall not add nor diminish from this word. Now, for those who say that Esau has tampered with the book, yeah, that's a fact. But as I said in that 1/6 January and Q&A, and as I've said before, and I say it again here today, this book is exactly the way Yah wanted it to be. The key to understanding this book, not just reading it, but reading it and understanding it, being illuminated by Yah, is that each and every person has to come to Yah, submit, and obey. And as you do this, then he will start to illuminate you. And again, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. That's how everybody gets it. And everything has its time and place. That's why I said in this last session, you heard me talk about this sister, 25 years old, out of Baltimore, who's so distraught because she's got a bachelor's degree, but she's awakened to the fact that she's Israel. And she feels as though, you know, that she's wasted all of this time. And I told her, don't beat yourself up like that. Because again, just like you heard me say in that 1/6, and I'm talking to you, those out there, I said this to her, you know, in regards to that matter. You know, what I told my mother when she said, you know, when I realized, when Yah awakened me and allowed me to see what the name of this movement had to be and what I had to do, you know, stand to be in harmony with him with all my heart and soul. My mother, when I turned to loose that other organization that I was with, and I had been with for a few years, and she said to me, she says, boy, don't you feel bad? All that money you spent, all that time you wasted, it was for nothing. And I immediately told her, no, it wasn't. I said, you don't understand. I had to do all of that to get to this point, for Yah to reveal this, what he's just revealed to me. The name, his name. I didn't even say Yah. I said for God to reveal his name. She said, well, what's his name? I said, it's Yah. Okay? See, I had to do all of that to understand my way, to understand what it took for me to get there. And at the same time, you understand, I still had to be polished. And I'm still hopefully being polished, as all of you out there and all of you who will hear this whenever you hear it. Okay? We have to be polished by Yah, and he's the only one who can do it. Simple as that. Okay? And again, that takes time. And as I've cited before, that's what went on in 1 Samuel chapter 22 with those 400 men and their families that came to David. See? And then if you look at that and discern it, you see that they went a few years. Okay? They went a few years because they had to be what? They had to be brought into judgment for what they had done. And that's why when you read about that period from that point on, you see that David and those men and their families, they were in some hairy situations. Very hairy situations. It was times when they barely had enough to eat. As we see in the situation with Nabal, some of you say Nabal, okay, and Abihail, right? So this is what's going on now. We have to be brought into judgment for what we have done. Each and every one of us individually, okay? Because different ones of you out there possibly haven't done different things that I've done, and vice versa, right? But we have to be brought into judgment. We have to understand our way. We have to come face to face with ourselves. Because again, Yah already understands. We have to understand individually about ourselves, about Yah, about what's going on. Okay? We have to understand that we are to be refined, and that's what's going on. Those of us who have totally turned to Yah and given ourselves to the Most High. Submission, commitment. We are being refined. In that, we're being judged. Again, I've done some things that in the way of Yah, under his law, warrant death. But Yah is very merciful. Again, I cite you Ezekiel chapter 18. And as you consider that, just take that and consider Abraham, who was married to his sister. But again, he's a root out of dry ground, as she was. They didn't know the law of the Most High. They wasn't raised in that. Because we see Abraham's father wasn't about that. And didn't they have both the same father but different mothers? And again, I cite you, if his father had been about Yah, you understand, would have been no need for Yah to say, get away from thy kindred, would it? Not only that, Yah would have came to Abraham's father. If he had been about Yah. That's how I look at that. And again, similar situation, well, a different situation, but, in regards to Jacob, he knew the law. He had been raised in the law. But he was tricked. Okay? He was tricked. But because he knew the law, when he had intercourse with Leah, he knew that was his wife. That's why he was so upset. You see. And that's why at first she was hated. But as time went by, because she was totally committed to Yah and being committed to Yah, and more so than that, she was committed to Yaakov, and then more than likely became so committed to Yah. Why? Because she saw Yaakov was totally committed to Yah, and she wanted to please her husband, who she loved, who she cared about. So she became totally committed to Yah. And over a period of time, that's why Yah kept opening up her womb. As I've said in the past, Yaakov, he couldn't live without her getting pregnant. That's why Yah opened up her womb, because she was just what a woman's supposed to be, totally committed to her husband, helpmate. So because Yaakov was committed to Yah, she was too. Where we see Raquel was the other way. She was all about herself. That's why Yah closed her womb up. She was a thorn in Yaakov's side. See? And as time goes by, as we see in the book, again, I just fast forward all the way. What did Yaakov, when they were in Egypt, what did Israel tell Yahweh say? I go the way of all the earth. I'm getting ready to pass on. And when I die, don't leave me here in Egypt. Take me down and bury me next to Leah in the cave that I purchased from the Hittites or the Shechemites. You understand? As a matter of fact, it was Hamar, right? He said, bury me next to Leah. He didn't say take me back and bury me next to Raquel. So we have to take these things into consideration. See, and that's what I've been saying, you know, from the beginning when y'all started to bring this into our view. I was saying it before, but really wasn't nobody to hear it, you know what I'm saying? But as y'all lift this movement up and is lifting it up into the sight of the people, all people, more and more, every day, every week, every month, more and more people are, you know, coming into this and logging on, I should say, to this movement and listening, because they're looking for Yah. They're looking for truth. They're looking for righteousness. That's Yah. They're looking for peace. That's Yah. They're looking for salvation from up under this demonic, satanic, oppressive system. That's Yah. That's who they're looking for. They're looking for the true and living Creator. That's Yah. And that's why they're coming into earshot, sight of Yah righteousness. And with that, we're open to questions. Okay, Yehuda, peace, Yehuda, peace to you too, Yah's will. He who creates will. Only saved in hard assets, but just wanted your thoughts on Bitcoins. Okay, fall of 1,000 to 110 in 2 months. Yeah, well, you know, again, it's a Ponzi scheme. And I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, it's great. Because I've had some thoughts about that here lately from what, I've seen and heard, and Yah's, it's a Ponzi scheme. And again, when you hear people like Max Kaiser or some of these other economists pushing Bitcoins like they do, and or these other encrypted currencies. All right, now hold your questions for a minute. Don't overwhelm us, okay? We're going to get to them. And when you hear them pushing these encrypted currencies, all they're doing, see, understand that the paper, I don't care what paper you've got, I don't care what kind of paper you have, okay? T-bills, treasury notes, bonds, stocks, Swiss franc, pound sterling, euro, dollar, okay? I don't care what kind of paper currency you're holding that states, whether it's a silver paper, paper silver, where they tell you that, so many people that bought this paper that says you got so much silver, but this is only on paper. You don't have the physical, right? Same thing with gold. All of these things now, right, are collapsing, and they're going to collapse big time. And I mean, it's right up on us. You understand? Just like you saying about the Bitcoin, now you've got plenty of people going into these encrypted currencies, and they're only doing it because some of these people, these knowledgeable people who've been seeing this coming, they've done what? They've gone into gold. They've gone into silver. Okay, but you know, to whatever degree, their gold, their silver is limited. They have so much. Some got more than others. But what they're trying to do is push these other Ponzi schemes like Bitcoin, like Masscoin. Okay, it's a few more of these encrypted currencies out here. And when they push them, just like what you just said, the Bitcoin got up to $1,000, right? Now it's dropped down to 110 because it's come under attack, you know, because Apple, from what I, you know, they closed their, as they call it, the internet wallet that people would use, you know, going through Apple to deal with Bitcoin, where they could use Bitcoin to pay for things. Well, Apple closed the wallet. See, it's also took a hit when this person who was big in Bitcoin got busted here a few weeks ago. You understand? They said he had purchased over $1 million worth of drugs in Bitcoin. So they busted him. So it took a hit there. See, but again, these are Ponzi schemes. That's all they are. And people are getting involved in them. See, if you can look, if you can put $100 into Bitcoin and get in like on the ground floor, or $50 or $25 into Bitcoin when it's down low, and then you start pushing it, promulgating it. Oh man, this is encrypted currency. The banks, you understand, can't do anything with this currency. Then you what? Other people hear that, and then other people do what? Oh man, I got to get some Bitcoin. So they start coming in, and that's what drives the price up, right? Same thing with stocks, bonds, same thing, same principle per se, right? And it drives the price up. And when the price gets driven up, those people who come in at the ground floor, you know, it turns their $25 into Bitcoin into $900 or $1,000. You see what I'm saying? When it gets up there so high, then they say, uh-oh, let me pull out and take this what? You understand? Take this gain, and they might take it out of Bitcoin, they might push it over into Masscoin, who's still down low. And all they're doing is playing these encrypted currencies, you know what I mean? In other words, you come in low, you're playing with house money. It's just like if you're shooting crap. You follow what I'm saying? I come in the crap game, and I don't actually want the dice. I come in and maybe I put $20 over here on the line. All right, hold the questions. I don't know what's going on, but you know, I put $20 on the line. You see what I'm saying? On the bar, that somebody will make their point, and maybe I might come in and win $100 just on the bar. You understand? Betting on somebody else's dice, and then once I get $100, $125, $50, I'm like, okay, give me the dice now. I can shoot. You know, I can put $20 down. Now I'm playing with house money. And that's all they doing with this Bitcoin and Masscoin and these encrypted currencies. They want to play with house money. And why do they want to do this? Because they want to keep from tapping in to their hard currency. That's all they doing. They just playing around, waiting for these papers to totally collapse. And when that happens, that's going to do what? It's going to drive the price of the hard currencies that they have, the gold, the silver, the platinum, copper, you know, aluminum. You understand? These type of commodities, it's going to drive them through the roof. You know, some people got cattle, right? Some people got different food stuffs like rice or beans or corn. These are commodities. And when the paper actually collapses, all the commodities go up through the roof. Now, the people generally who are not able, as I've said in the past, you follow what I'm saying? What does it say in Genesis chapter 13 at the top? Abraham was rich in what? Cattle, silver, and gold. All right, well, you know, those of us who are in these urban areas, you understand what I'm saying? We can't get any cattle, right? That's not feasible. But we can get silver or gold or copper, something on that now. You see what I'm saying? Now you got some of us who've done what? Invested in cattle, but you know, that's on paper too. You know what I'm saying? And anything on paper is not a certainty that you're going to be able to hold on to that, because that can be a ruse. You know, when the deal goes down, Esau, he's not going to pay anybody who's holding paper. You follow me? That's possibly why these 20 or so bankers have come up dead, supposedly committed suicide. You understand? supposedly have committed suicide, because Esau getting ready to run some game down, and when he actually drops this thing, he's more likely he can say some of these bankers who have supposedly committed suicide, he can blame it on them. Oh, well, you know, we didn't know anything about that, because this bank over here and that bank over here, they did that. Maybe that's why they committed suicide, and the buck stops with them. You follow what I'm saying? So you get these people who are pushing encrypted currencies only to play with house money, to keep them from having to tamper or touch their hard currencies, their gold, their platinum, their silver, their copper, their aluminum that they got stored up. See, because all that stuff gonna go through the roof when the paper actually collapses across the board. And again, as I said in the past, not long ago, okay, this dollar, this American dollar, that's still the world currency. You follow me? And when it collapses, it's going to take all these other currencies with it. All these currencies is going to take a major hit. And that's just the reality of it. Okay? So now, again, don't get it twisted. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Okay? Don't drink the Kool-Aid. All right? Don't get caught up. And again, let me say this too while I'm saying this. Don't worry so much about currencies if you don't, you know, economics, if you really don't have it. Just be concerned, you know, because Yah's going to give you, if you turn to Yah, he's going to give you what you need to sustain yourself. Okay? He's going to give you what you need. All right? And again, I, you know, spot you the book itself, but, you know, real concise. Just go over there to that 37th Psalm again and read it sometime. All right? Be times and often. And see what David said in his retrospective. Now, he looked back in the past after he had got older. But you understand, know this, that Yah is going to bring these elite to get his movement. All right? Again, I cite you the 49th chapter of Yeshaya. Like I told this sister that I was just talking about, the young sister, right? You understand? Because she's got a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I said, you know, Yah's going to put the titty, listen to me well, he's going to put the titty of these monarchies and these elite in our mouth. We're going to suck the breast of kings. I told her, I said, I know you about to know about that. She said, I said, you know, did you breastfeed? She said, yeah. Well, I stopped now. I said, yeah, but you did breastfeed. She said, yeah. I said, do you know what I'm talking about? Okay? That 2-year-old, that 7-year-old, at one time had the titty in their mouth. Breastfeed. And that's what these elite are going to do. Because they coming. Because they're going to want to save themselves. Like I said on the very first show we did with Mark Sim. They're going to come to us. They're going to come to the movement of the Most High, Yah of hosts. Okay? Yah righteous. See, they not stupid. Yah has not taken their wisdom and understanding. Okay? They got their wisdom and understanding. They looking at this thing. All right? See? And again, see, they understand that, like I just said on this last session, and those of you who've been, you know, listening to Yah righteous, you heard me say here, you understand, just here last month, that these kings and these queens and these elite of there, these super elite, they don't have billions, they don't have trillions, they got quadrillions. And then, like I said in this last session, just hear about Elizabeth come out and say they didn't have enough money to maintain Buckingham Palace. Now, you know that's a lie. If you believe that, just come on here to Chicago. I got 2 or 3 bridges I can say. All right? You know that's a lie. But that's what they come out and put out to the people. Because, you understand? See? This that kind of stuff that make me think, you know, without a doubt. They listening. They go on here and they listen to this. They know what the movement of the Most High is. It's just the people don't know. Simple as that. Okay, now the next in Zion Train, could you explain that Levirate law?
He means Levirate.
Okay, Levirate law. Thank you. Need a little bit more clarity, and where in the book can I find it? Well, it's in
25, Deuteronomy 25:5.
Did you hear Yada? Deuteronomy 25:5, the Levirate law. You know, say you and I brothers, Zion Train, I die. I don't have any children. I don't have any sons to carry on my name. Sons specifically, not daughters, right? Because daughters don't carry on lines. Seed does, males. So I die. I don't have any sons. You're my brother. So, my ex-wife, my widow, she comes to you, or some of the, judges come to you and say, well, Dauda, he was righteous, brother. He died. Y'all hadn't given him any sons. Will you raise up seed to your brother? And you said, okay, yeah, I'll do that. You follow what I'm saying? And that's the law, the Levirate law. Okay, that's what happened with Zerubbabel, right? Because he was really the son of Pedaiah, Shealtiel's brother. But Shealtiel died without having any son. So Pedaiah, his brother, raised up seed to his brother. And see, you understand, that's why he was known as Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel. But in actuality, he was really the son of Pedaiah, Shealtiel's brother. But he raised up seed to his brother. Okay? I hope that explained it. What's next? Okay, servant of Yahoo, Bitcoin is a scam. Yeah, it's a Ponzi scheme, and you can get caught up in it and end up with nothing. I mean, if you come in, say when Bitcoin got up there to $500-600, you're like, oh man, this thing going through the roof. I better get in now. So you invest $500-600. You come in on the ground floor. Say you got 2 Bitcoins. So you came in at $1,000, $1,100, $1,200. You got 2 Bitcoins and you said, this is going up. Let me get in here now. But so it got up to now, as the brother just said, it got up to 1,000, and now it dropped all the way back down to 110. When it got up to 1,000, you like, oh man, now you say this is going good. But when it dropped down to 110, all of a sudden you done lost. Now you understand what I'm saying? You done lost about $1,000. Okay. See, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's just like those stocks on the stock market and any other this paper. Okay? Like I said to this sister, I had a conversation with her the other week, and I think she's in the room. I know she was in there, but when she hears, she'll know what I'm talking about. But we're talking, and if any of you out there ever saw this movie, The Pope of Greenwich Village, with Mickey Rourke and what's his name? Julia Roberts' brother, Eric Roberts. If you ever saw that movie, it's a scene in that movie, right, where E. Emmett Walsh, he's playing a detective. And when him and this other detective is going to investigate, one of their guys who was wearing a wire's death, and they talking as they riding in the car going to see this detective who had come up dead, going to see his mother. And E. Emmett Walsh says, he said the guy was wearing a wire. He says that to his guy, his partner. He said he was wearing a wire. And the guy said, what? He said, yeah. And then E. Emmett Walsh makes this statement. He said, for 27 years, I've been hoarding away. In other words, he's been hoarding away this graft money, this corruption money. You understand? He said, I've been hoarding for 27 years. And he makes the statement, he says, and that inflation is eating it up quicker than I can put it away. Okay? Now, that's the situation with paper. Any kind of paper, it can be inflated away. Now, just look at it from this perspective. If anybody say, they've been sleepwalking, you understand, for the last 150 years, right? And they had $2 million in Confederate money stashed under in the cellar. You understand what I mean? And they all of a sudden awaken. They remember when they had this $2 million of Jefferson Davis money, and they went to it. What could they get with that now? It's totally worthless. You see what I'm saying? The only value it might have is antiquity. They might give us something if it's in pristine condition. But, see, silver and gold, if those same people had $2 million in gold and silver stash and they brought it out, it would be worth more than it was back then. It was still had the same buying power. See, the hard currency never loses its buying power, ever. Simple as that. Okay? That's why people go in. But see, you only got so much gold and silver in the world. That stuff's got to be mined. It's got to be, you understand, it's got to be dug up, dug out. It's got to be refined. You follow what I'm saying? See, you know, you just can't cut down a tree and pull some ink up and roll out something. You got to discover that. You've got to mine it. See, just like these brothers I just heard about over there in South Africa. You understand what I'm saying? I think it was South Africa. They got a strike, and then they had a catastrophe in the mine. Some of them got killed. You see what I'm saying? That stuff, you got to go through a lot to get out gold and silver and platinum and copper. You understand what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Aluminum. See? What's next? Yehuda, if you have gold and silver, where can you keep them safely, since the government has the right to confiscate everything you own in times of war? Also, they have the right to take food or anything you have saved for military reasons. Yeah, that's a good question, Malaya. But at the same time, those of us who are with Yah, you better make sure you with Yah. Our righteousness, the King. See? And I just cite you again. Ezra, what's that chapter 8? They were not subject to what? Duty, tolls, customs of the people. Because they were what? They were with Yah. Now, for all those who hear this, whenever you hear it, and they say, boy, that Yehuda, he's really crazy. You understand? We in the door of the battle. We in the United States of America. This, and you know, they come up with all these different reasons. In other words, I'm going to just cite you again what Yah said to Sarah. Is anything too hard for the Most High? Now, when you come, what did Yah say there again? I cite you, Yeshaya chapter 54 at the back end of the chapter. What did Yah say? You understand? No weapon formed gonna be able to hurt them. I create the smith that blows the coals in the fire, that brings forth the waster to destroy. No weapon formed is going to have any power over my servants, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yah. And his righteousness is what? This word. Like I just cited you the 59th chapter of Yeshaya here the other month. Right? And again, what does it say? You understand? Mine arm brought salvation unto me. He talked about the Jerusalem movement. And my righteousness sustained. It says him, but my righteousness sustains them. Yah is our strength and our shield. See? But as I said in the past, make sure that you're totally committed and submitted to Yah if you want, desire, and expect him to shield and protect you. Simple as that. What's next?
There's a guy saying make an underground bunker.
Yeah, okay. Better make an underground bunker and have a lot of firearms. Well, brother, what's your name? Israel Light?
I am. Israelite I am.
Okay, Israel Light I am. Well, you're a little light. Okay? Because that's not the answer. Okay? Again, you know, what you're saying there is something that I'm glad you said that again, because it just jogged my mind. Something just, we got wind of something that just happened, well, not long ago, up in Michigan. You got some Israelites up there in Michigan, and evidently this was a Gentile reporter who was up in Michigan doing some reporting on something, and she come across these Israelites. It's up on the site. I can't remember when that situation was brought to us about these brothers over in the land who was saying, Jerusalem is down there by where Lachish was or something, or where the house of Yah was by Lachish. We saw something on the side, and so I had Yah to hit it. She hit it, brought it up, and it was a situation where these brothers who awakened to the fact that they Israel, but they called themselves black Hebrew Israelites. And as I said in the past, anytime I hear brothers or sisters refer to themselves as black Hebrew Israelites or black Israelites, black Hebrews, I understand immediately that they don't understand. They got a little bit of light, but they don't have much, because if they did, they wouldn't be using that term black. Okay? And as you listen to it, you hear these brothers standing at a fence talking to this Caucasian woman, reporter, and they're castigating her. They're telling her how, you know, they're gonna rape her. She gonna like it. Okay? They're using these profanities. Okay? And they're saying that this comes out of this book when they use the term ravish. And ravish does mean rape. Okay? But at the same time, they don't truly understand what that's saying. And so far as this brother here talking about underground bunker and having a lot of firearms, if you're not with Yah, I don't care what you got. It's not going to do you any good. See, remember this and remember it well. And all of you out there that's listening to this, hearing this today, or whenever you hear it, remember and understand this. It's Yah. And I just direct you to, again, Genesis 27 chapter and the blessing that was put on Esau, and Jeremiah chapter 25, 14 through 33, that I mentioned in the last Q&A, I think it was, right? In that 1-6 Q&A. It's Yah that empowers and is the power behind these illuminated Edomites, this sword. Yah is the power behind them. And if you're not about Yah, if you're not magnifying Yah with all your heart and soul and submissive to Yah with all your heart and soul, then he's the power that's against you. Again, Yah is the only one, you follow what I'm saying, that can stop his judgment on you, because it's his judgment not only on Israel, but on the people of the earth. Again, I cite you Ezekiel 36 verse 22. He's only going to stop his judgment through the sword on any and all of the inhabitants of the earth when those people of the earth turn to him, submit and obey, and magnify his laws and his holy name. He's only going to stop it for his holy name's sake. So Yah is our strength and our shield. He's our refuge. Okay? Again, what is it? 6? Does it say that this seed of David, who spearheads the movement of the Most High, you understand? Does it say he's going to be called the Prince of War? That he's going to hold on. The monarchs that is in Europe, or that are in Europe, has dukes in their family. Is there any relation to you? Well, Esau's intertwined up in there. You know what I'm saying? He's mixed with them. They've mixed with him. Okay? And that could very well, where they got that terminology and where they use it. Duke this and Duke that. I don't doubt that. Okay, what's next? Okay. Numbers 29, 7 to 11 talks of the sacrifices for the Day of Atonement. I know we are to afflict our souls. My question is, what is done with the priest portion of sacrifice on that day? Well, again, that's a good question, and I never thought about that. When you say what do they do on that day, but me myself, I know they offer is 2 offerings. Now, again, it could be, and again, this is could very well be that offering at the beginning of that night. You understand? Or now it's 2 in the day. Now I don't know exactly. It says evening. It says morning, right? Now that evening could be dark. but it could be, you understand, when the sun goes down, which is still put it in the same day. You still gonna get 2 in a day. So don't get it twisted, right? Now, if it's at the evening, you follow what I'm saying? Right before the Day of Atonement begins at dark on the 10th day. You understand? If it means when the sun goes down on that day and they offer the offering, they can still eat. They got time to eat before the Day of Atonement. All right? Now, when that next one comes that morning, maybe that's an offering, just a sin offering, where the whole thing gets burnt up. And they're not eating any of that. You know, they got an offering where everything gets burnt up. The whole thing. You don't eat anything of that. You see what I'm saying? So maybe I'm sure they would afflict their souls too on that day. You see what I'm saying? But again, all this going to be cleared up with the Levite. See, I'm not a Levite. I'm not the high priest. You follow what I'm saying? And I have no doubt, and I'm sure I've said this in the past, not long ago, that when this movement gets back, when we go through that little situation with Assyria, you know, in clearing Jerusalem of all idolatry that I just cited earlier, Micah 5, right, Ezekiel 11, 18, when that's over with, and then these elite of the earth who basically Yah brought us back through, when they come and start building, you know, we're going to finish the cleansing of Jerusalem of all idolatry, and then they're going to start, and more likely, you know, we'll be participating in the cleansing. They'll probably send some people, they're going to participate because they're going to want to get this temple built. In my mind, they're going to want to get it built. You understand? Because again, I just cite you, what does it say in Yeshaya chapter 60, the last verse? Yah's going to hasten it. This whole process is picking up steam. It's being hastened. And these elite, they're going to want to get this third temple built and them sacrifices on. Okay? So that's when they're going to come. And they're going to build, they're going to bring all these people at their disposal because they the movers and the shakers. Like I said, they got quadrillions and they got authority. Yah's put them in power. Okay, just like Artaxerxes, just like Nebuchadnezzar, just like Cyrus. He done put them in power. You understand? And they're going to send the people that need to be sent, and they're going to build this third and last temple. And it's going to be immaculate. Now, in the process of this being done, I have no doubt that Yah, he's going to make it plain who these Levites are. He's going to make it plain who this seed of Zadok being brought through that Yahushua that was back there with Zerubbabel. He's going to make it plain who these people are. And in the process of doing that at the same time, he's going to school them in the operation of this temple and everything that's supposed to be done in it and how it's supposed to be done, down to the least little situation. You follow me? He's going to school them. Because I don't look at everything as exactly as it probably should be in regards to that temple in this book. But I don't, as I said some time ago, I don't really scrutinize, the operation of the temple. I've read it, but I don't go back in here and just scrutinize that. Because again, I'm not a priest, in that regard. You understand what I'm saying? As it says, he'll be like a governor and a priest on the throne, but in actuality, I'm not a priest. Simple as that, you see? So I know that Yah's going to inseminate whatever wisdom and understanding that that the Levites and this seed of Zadok needs. He's going to inseminate it into them. But at the same time, as I just said on this last session, I've said it in the past, you got different ones, including this seed of Zadok. They still in opposition to this message right now. Okay? They fighting it still. They in the heat of their spirit. See? And they fighting it. You follow what I'm saying? They got to swallow their pride, submit and obey. That's why, again, in Zechariah chapter 3, what is that, verse 7? What's the stipulation? If. That big word, if. Huh? What's next?
Right at the top.
Okay, peace, brother. How did you get the name Yah as opposed to other names? I keep hearing Yah is not his full name. Okay, well, first of all, Malachi 34, you're not even spelling the name of the Most High correctly. Quite naturally, you got the phonetical spelling, but that's not how it's spelled. in actuality in English. It's spelled YHWH. Yod Het Wah Het. But as I've explained in the very first show we did with Mark Sam, the Y is silent. It takes on no phonetics. It's quiescent. The vowel point of I is put upon the Yod, or as we know it in English, the Y. And that's just like you got the phonetical spelling there, Y-A-H-H. That's how it's pronounced. Yeah. That's why in the flyer that we put out, that's why we put that in there in parentheses. We got the name YHWH, and then we've got in parentheses Yah, because that's how it's pronounced. See, because most people, they see the W, and because we've been trained to you know, say that vowel, you follow what I'm saying? I mean, that W, you understand what I'm saying? We've been trained to pronounce it with the wah sound, but it's silent. And we hear it in the names. Hazek Yah, Yeshai Yah, right? Yerim Yah, L-E Yah, Yah-Uda, Yah-O-Safe. You don't hear Yahweh O-Safe. You don't hear Yahweh O-Safe. You don't hear Yahuwah O-Safe. You follow me? And I've said this in the past to people, you know, like that brother David, you know, Yahuwah is our vindicator. I said that to him, but it didn't penetrate. And again, you know, I'm not for strife and debate. You know what I'm saying? If I see people, we're really trying to get to the truth, but if we can't come to any agreement, then after a while I leave off. You know, sometimes I go a long time before I finally leave off, as you saw, you know, you heard if you listen to this conversation with the brother Dave. You know, after 7 to 8 hours, like I said, you heard the back end of that, the second part. But after 7 to 8 hours, I saw he, you know, and I also understood he just was not going to acknowledge. Like I said before, I told him that in the first conversation after about 3 hours going around and around and around. See, I know it's a bitter pill, but at the same time, you know, that's why y'all got Zechariah chapter 3. You know, those first 7 verses, 7, 8 verses. That's why he's got what he's got in Malachi chapter 3. Purify the sons of Lewi. Some of them take that purification without any problem, but you got others who fight against it. What's next? Has anyone that's in Dimona or part of that movement contacted you? If any of them have turned to Yah, our righteousness, truth yet? Many of the blacks, okay, are being arrested and no one knows what's happening to them. One of my male friends are very afraid. Well, again, you know, you're not with Yah, then you're going to be afraid. Because even those who come to Yah initially, before, you know, they start to get enough illumination, you know, been with Yah a little bit, that fear is going to overwhelm them to a degree, and sometimes to a great degree. But in reference to the first part of your question, I have no doubt that some of the Dimona movement have called here, but they don't tell me that they are of that movement. Now, it's one, as I've spoken of in the past, he no longer was with that movement. I talked to him about 4 years ago, almost like to the day. He called here when he said he had been directed by this sister who was in Atlanta, who was either part of that movement or had been part of that movement. And she came across when we did one of the shows with Mark Sims, and I talked about the Dimona movement and where it is prophetically in the book and what it represented. And he told me when we finally talked, because he called the first time I wasn't here, he left a message, and then when I called him back, he wasn't there. I left a message, and then he called me that next morning, and we talked about 3.5 hours the first time we talked. And he had been with that movement before that movement had even formed itself, because you know, that movement was made up of 2 other movements here in Chicago that came together, and he was with one of those movements then. And he told me how that movement came together. He told me how Ben-Ami rose to be the head of that movement. He told me a lot, okay, but he told me initially how he had been directed to the website and heard what I said, and it moved him, okay, and that's why he called. And I've only talked to that brother one other time after that. But last time I talked to him, he was living in Monroe, Louisiana. And he told me he left the movement in 91. Pretty sure it was 91. He said he left because he said he saw that it wasn't what it had been actually, they had perceived it to be initially. It had gotten away from that totally. It wasn't about that. So he just eventually left and came back here to the door of Babylon. Simple as that. Quite naturally, I have had a couple of conversations. One brief, well, really three. One real brief, really wasn't a conversation, and then one somewhat extended in a way, but I knew it wasn't going to do any good, so I didn't have too much to say, and that was with ICL, who was called Prince ICL then. Again, as I said, he's the chairman of ICL of Better World now, and they still working on that. And I had a conversation he engineered back when he was still with the movement over at the restaurant here in Chicago, So Vegetarian. And I told him I didn't have much to say because he engineered the conversation. But again, I knew it wasn't going to do any good because I knew he wasn't going to understand. And I cite you what I, mentioned in this past session at the back end, the 41st chapter of Yeshaya, okay, as well as chapter 48, Yeshaya, the first 11 verses. I knew he wasn't going to understand, so I didn't go into a lot. But I did impress upon him that conversation was really for a later time. And what I meant by that, and I know more than likely he didn't understand it when I said it, it's just in my mind that somewhere in the future we'll have a conversation again when he's able to understand, possibly. And I'll remind him of that conversation then. What's next? And again, as far as the different brothers, because I don't refer to us as black. That's the curse. I mean, don't you see that mentioned? Yah talked about that. He mentioned that in Yeshaya chapter 42. Many of us are in prison houses. But again, those of us who are in prison houses, and I know of one, if you seek Yah, you can find it. You can get a book. I mean, Yah brought Konya out of prison after 37 years, didn't he? And as I've spoken of in the past, I know Konya totally submitted to Yah. And when he submitted and accepted, hear me well, accepted of his punishment, it took 37 years for him totally to do this and totally be submitted, and Yah to be totally content with his submission and commitment. Then Yah had him brought up out that prison house by Evil Moradok. What's next?
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, did David violate the law when he took his wife Michal away from her husband? 2 Samuel 3:13-16. Yeah, but it was his wife. And again, you got to scrutinize the time and what happened. Again, this whole situation was basically instigated by her father, was it not? I mean, when but if you look at it, she helped David escape her father, did she not? But then her father gave her to another man because he was evil. Saul was evil. You follow me? But then when David came back, hey, that's still my wife, man. But you understand, Michal, we see she had a lot of her father in her, and that's why y'all closed her womb up. She never had any children. Right? And we know why. We know what it says in the book, right? Because she disdained David when she saw him, dancing before Yah as the Ark of the Covenant was being brought up into Jerusalem. Okay, do we have guardian angels? I have no doubt. Just go to, you understand? Go to Daniel chapter 12. What does it say there? Doesn't it say that Michael, the angel, the angel of Yah that stands for the children of Israel, He's standing for us right now, watching over us. Okay? That's why I just said to the person that, asked about the gold and the silver, and and basically put forth the thing of, because they got a law here. Esau got a law here in America, right? That they can come and confiscate whatever it is from you, right? So again, that's why I direct you to Ezra, right? What Artaxerxes said. Again, as I've mentioned in the past, I don't know if all of you heard it, I've talked about it in the past, the Amalekite Edomite who was partially illuminated during the time of Alexander the Great, right? Alexander the Great King, the first king of all Grecia, right? That's why they had to get rid of him. That's why they poisoned him, because Alexander feared Yah. He would not order or allow our forefathers who were still in the land and whatnot to be attacked. And he didn't put any kind of tribute to them. As I said in Edomite, but they couldn't say anything because Alexander was the great king. But they sat around and plotted until they were able to what? Find a weak link in Alexander's chain, which turned out to be who? Ptolemy. And he fell in with him for his own reasons, because he wanted to be Alexander, and they poisoned Alexander systematically and got rid of him. Simple as that. See what I'm saying? But Alexander feared Yah, as did Cyrus, as did Artaxerxes, as did Darius the Great, the Persian, and as did Nebuchadnezzar, ended up fearing Yah. Just go into the book of Daniel and look what Nebuchadnezzar wrote in that letter. Once Yah restored his understanding after 7 years. And many others, right? What's next? Okay. Now, okay, now again, what's
Okay. Wait.
okay? Again, this man descended. Hold on for a second. Okay, we're back now. I was told, but he couldn't say anything because
That's from earlier. Disregard that. That's not. What's that?
okay, Okay, now again, they chopping that up. They don't want you to hear that about Alexander, evidently. Okay, but again, Alexander wouldn't attack our forefathers. Okay, and this is 332, 331, 330 BCE. Okay, as we see what Nebuchadnezzar wrote in the book of Daniel when Yah returned his senses after 7 years. Right? He feared Yah finally. It took all that for him to truly fear Yah, right? We see Cyrus feared Yah, right? Cyrus the Great. We see that Darius the Persian, Darius the Great, he feared Yah. Like I said in the past, go to Ezra chapter 5 and chapter 6 and see what Darius said. You follow me? Because again, the temple didn't get actually built, as it didn't get started on again, as we see at the bottom of chapter 4 Ezra, right? Until the 2nd year of Darius the Persian. Right? So he feared Yah. We see Artaxerxes feared Yah. Is that not right? He allowed Ezra to come back, gave him the 501c3, where they were not subject to tolls, duty, customs, taxes, right? Of the people. They were reckoned with the rest of the people. Huh? Isn't that what Yah says about Israel? We shall not be reckoned with the other nations. Because when we turn to our power, our strength, he who creates, Yah of hosts, he becomes our strength and our shield. When we totally turn to him and submit, we can't be straddling the line. We can't be doing partial what Yah says and expect him to shield and protect us. See? You playing, you can't play with Yah. It's all or nothing at all. Simple as that. Okay? And again, that's why the Illuminati Edomite, the Malachite Edomite had to poison Alexander, had to get rid of him. Okay? So that they could get him out the way, so that they could attack us. And that's what they did when they got rid of him. You follow me? When Ptolemy put himself on the throne, and now he's taking Egypt, one of those 4 horns that rose up after Alexander's death, took the Egyptian throne. You understand? He was ruling Egypt. He was the first one of the Diadochi to take part of Alexander's kingdom. They took Egypt because that's where all the history was. That's where all the knowledge was. All right? That's why I said with the first show with Mark Sims, they changed all of that. They've taken a lot of that away. They don't want us to see what the Egyptians thought about Yah, how they feared Yah. Again, as we've said in the past, you follow me? That last verse in the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy, right? We would be taken back into Egypt by ships, by the way Yah told us of. We would be sold to our enemies as bondmen and bondwomen, but no man would buy us. That sounds convoluted, doesn't it? But the deal is, we were sold, as you see Amos 1, Yoel chapter 3, to the Grecians. We were sold to Ptolemy. By those Amalekite Edomites who were partially illuminated, who had put a bounty on us. All along the coast of Lebanon. 83rd son. All the nations you see there. They rounded us, the ones of us up, who was talking about we was Israel, talking about Yah in any kind of way, and sold us to Esau. Amos chapter 1. And when Esau got us, he sold us to Ptolemy. And then they put us on ships supplied by the Tyrians or the Hittites, the Phoenicians, right? Sailed us over to Alexandria, Egypt, where they auctioned us, tried to auction us off. But when the Egyptians came out, and remember this is 320 BCE, when the Egyptians came out and saw who they was auctioning, like, man, I been there, done that. We ain't fooling with them Israelites. Because Yah dropped drama on you. They had a long history of this. Okay? They had over 1,100 year history. Okay? What, 1,120 years? You understand? Going all the way back to 1440 BCE. They're like, ain't fooling with them Israelites. Because that Yah he rough, okay? Yeah, we ain't buying them, see? And that's when, you follow me? The Ptolemy, he looks at the Malachite Edomite. He said, hey, I thought you said I could sell them. And the Malachite Edomite at the time, he said, that's all right.
I'll buy them back from you. But they're not going back over there. You won't take no loss. I'll buy them back. And that's what he did. So we were sold to our enemies. Why? Because no man would buy us. And that's when they took us on down into Niger. That's my mind. Now, I haven't read that anywhere. Okay, like I said in the past, not long ago. You do have, if you got an Unger's Bible dictionary, it's under Jerusalem, where it says that Ptolemy Soter took 40,000 of us over into Africa. That's how it's written. But that's what it's talking about. That's when that jumped off. 40,000 of us he took over into Africa. All right. So now, when we were sold back to the Edomite, you understand, the Amalekite Edomite, he took us on, is my man, over into Niger. And that's where eventually, a little over 200 years later, we lost all knowledge of who we were. Like it was prophesied, Yah would do. He would totally cut us off. We wouldn't remember who we were. For 2,000 years, that had to be into effect. And eventually, we became known as Nigers that evolved into what? Nigger. That you got plenty of the brothers and sisters still using to this day, and Caucasians. And other, who use that on us. Right? Nigger. What's next?
Now this one about blood moons.
Okay, have you heard anything about these blood moons coming around the time of Esau's expulsion?
And then this guy has one blood moons related to any prophecy.
Okay, well, blood moons are related to prophecy in regards to Yoel, chapter 2. And I've just spoken about that not long ago. But again, we see that the moon, and at times, these things get red, but they ain't got like they gonna get blood. I haven't seen it blood, okay? And I don't know in regards to about this happening in the time of Esau's expulsion, all right? I don't know anything about that. I haven't seen that. Now maybe somebody else has seen it, but they have to, bring that to me and show me where that is. I haven't seen it. But I have, in regards to Esau's expulsion, you understand, they couldn't get expelled until Yah's movement was in the world. And again, peeling the onion, Yeshaya chapter 28, who, it's the same report that's mentioned in the 28th chapter of Yeshaya that's being talked about, you understand, in 53 Yeshaya the chapter. Who have believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Yah revealed? Okay? And that's the same report you see in the 28th chapter of Yeshaya when it says, these scornful men who rule these people of Ephraim at the top of the chapter 28, or the descendants of these 7 of the 10 tribes of Israel who are today called Palestinians, these scornful men who rule them. Well, that's Netanyahu and the Edomites over there, right? I mean, the Likud and you understand? The state of Israel. These are the Edomites. You understand? The robbers of our people. Some of them, anyway, right? The ones who's in the land. The Zionist movement. You see? And it says in 28th chapter Yeshaya, doesn't it say? Because I'm not looking at it. I got the book right here. Let me read it verbatim to you. Okay, because a lot of times I just say these things off, out of my heart. But hold on, I read it to you verbatim. I'm going to Yeshaya chapter 28. Okay, and it's down in the chapter. Again, I'll pick this up at verse 14. Okay. Wherefore hear the word of Yah, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. Okay, the scornful men, that's the descendants of Esau. That's Netanyahu and the Zionists, the Zionists over there, the Zionist Edomites, right? Who rule in our brothers and sisters in Jerusalem right now, today. Because you have said we have made a covenant with death and with hell, the grave, right? Are we at agreement? When the overflowing scourge or punishment, you see that? It's talking about their demise, their expulsion, right there, right? When the overflowing scourge or punishment shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. See, that's their mind, because they all prideful and arrogant, and they got their weapons, you understand, that they put their trust in. You know, Daniel chapter 11, right? You understand what's that, verse 39, 38, 39? That's where they put their trust in weaponry, right? All the Edomites, right? And it says, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. You see? Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yah, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation of stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. And what is Yah referring to? The law. With the statutes and the ordinances and the judgments and the precepts. That's the sure foundation. Okay? Which is talked about again in this same chapter, right? The law. You follow me? And so what does it say? He that believes shall not make haste. Okay? Because people over the years, they've said to me, well, when you going? You talk about just going, when you going? I said, well, this thing's got to be done first. Okay? Because it don't make any sense to go over there to the land with the Edomites in power, does it? It ain't gonna make no sense to run over there and Yah's not before you, like he says here in chapter 52, Yeshaya. He gonna be on the head of his movement. That's why again, the movement is called Yah righteousness. He's on the head of it, isn't he? Now 28, right? Verse 17. Judgment also will I lay to the lion, and righteousness to the plummet. That's the law, is it not? And the prophecies of the law. And the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place. Because that's what the law does. Now y'all in that land right there, he's talking about peeling the onion, exposing. Isn't that what y'all talks about the Edomites over there in the one chapter of Abijah? How he was going to expose them, how are thy secret things, hidden things sought up and searched out, O Esau? Isn't y'all talking about this similar thing in chapter 47, Yeshaya? When he's talking about the daughter of Babylon, that the Illuminati Edomite runs through the skull and bone boys? Yeshaya chapter 41, verse 9. The secondary chief that we've talked about in the past, when you look up that chief in the strong, it says secondary extremity. Isn't that what the skull and bone boys are? They're not the primary chief. They're the second chief. They are a chief, but they're the secondary chief. And in 41 Yeshaya, what does it say? Who have called thee from the chief men thereof? Well, he's calling Jerusalem. He's pleading with Jerusalem. You know, here in Yeshaya. Is he not? Chapter 40, 41, 42, he said, come, let us plead together. He's talking about Jerusalem. You know, it's not all Israel, because all Israel doesn't wake up at the same time. The majority of Israel, as I've said in the past, and I do mean the majority, as we see in Ezekiel chapter 35, are not going to awaken to the fact that they're Israel and get knowledge about Yah until the Edomites are judged, run out of our land into their land and burn up. Yeshaya chapter 33, Yeshaya chapter 34, also in that one chapter of Abijah. And when I'm coming back here to chapter 28, right? And you see what it says? Judgment will I lay to the land, righteousness to the plummet. That's the law. And the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place. That's the law. And Yah does this when he starts bringing it from his arm. Yah righteousness. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled. He's talking about the Edomites over there in the land. And your agreement with the grave hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge punishment shall pass through, then you shall be trodden down by it. From the time that it goes forth, it shall take you. For morning by morning shall it pass over, by day and by night, and it shall be a vexation only to understand what? The report. And that's the same report that's talked about in the top of chapter 53, Yeshaya. Who have believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Yah revealed? For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than he can wrap himself in it. See? Because again, there's no place to hide. Because that's what Yah righteousness does. Yah, through his arm, peels the onion. It pulls the covers off everybody. That's why you got people, you understand, like I said in the past, they come into this room, right? and they come into this room surreptitious. Like I just said earlier, right in this session when I talk about the spies of Mississippi, you can probably bring that up, Google it, right? And back there when they had the Sovereign Commission, you understand, back during the civil rights, you know, the NAACP, SNCC, CORE, you follow me? And they had spies. They was hiring different ones of us to spy on us. Well, like I just said in this session, don't think this is still not going on. You understand? You got spies in this room right now, coming in under surreptitious names. Why would you have to come in here under a surreptitious name? You know what I'm saying? See, when you hear that, you probably seen people run out the room. Probably see them run out the room. You understand? Hey, did I say earlier that Eve had sex with this? Well, again, she had sex with this man who descended from those people who were created. Very good, doesn't it say that? And that was the end of the 6th day. And then on the 7th day, y'all sanctified and proclaimed it a day of rest, of refreshment. Hold on. Okay, now just told that Esau didn't want, he blotted out about when I was talking about the spies in the room right now, right? And about the Sovereign Commission back in, you know, the spies of Mississippi. You know, like I said, you could probably Google it. And you'll hear, when you Google spies of Mississippi, they had what was called the Sovereign Commission back there during the NAACP, the SNCC, CORE during that time, all right? Back in the 50s, 60s, you know what I'm saying, 70s, they ain't never stopped having spies. They got, like I just said, they got them today. We got some in this room. Everybody in this room is not totally committed to y'all. They come into this room under surreptitious names. Like I said in the past, don't think when you don't see names up here on this, you know, on the screen that you're looking at, that you don't have others that are listening to this message right now. And go listen to it later in the privacy of their own home or in the privacy of the palace, the castle. You understand? The chateau.
The manor house.
Right. You understand? You got to say the manor house. They listening, but they don't want other people to know they listening. So they come in under different names. You know what I'm saying? And again, it doesn't matter to me. Because again, it's not to my glorification, it's to Yah's glorification. And again, the people who come in here should be focused, as I said different times in the past. It shouldn't be no bantering back and forth. You should be focused on what's being said. You should have a book open, take notes. You know, if you know shorthand, take the notes. If you can't do that, then listen to the message, record it if you can, so you can go over it and over it and over it. Because again, we don't know how long this is going to be, you know, going on. I know if it was to stop today, okay, if y'all allowed them to stop this today and took everything down off the internet, you understand what I mean? You know what that would signal to me? That the Jerusalem movement, everybody that's going to make this Jerusalem movement, they are already in the process of being worked by Yah. They are already in the process of being refined. Simple as that. And everybody that needs to hear this has heard it. I mean, how long Yah Rice has been brought out into the sight of the people now? Getting close to what? 8 years? Since July 2006? What's next? Again, you know, this was a man. This serpent, this was a man, okay? He wasn't an animal. He wasn't a snake like that. You know, different ones of us know snakes, don't we? That walk on two legs, whether they be male or female, don't we? I know I've come across many snakes. Like I said, you probably got snakes in this room right now. Okay? It's going to be snakes going to hear this message later on. But they walking on two legs, just like that person was, and then y'all made him slither on his belly for the iniquity that he caused with his lies and deception. But he had intercourse with Eve. She became impregnated. That's where Cain comes from. And then Adam, who had had sex with his wife prior, he knew she had committed an adultery. He knew he shouldn't touch her again, but she enticed him and he yielded. And he had intercourse with her again. And Yah impregnated her. If she wasn't impregnated before by Adam, she was impregnated then, because Adam is his child. Cain is the child of this other man who's called the serpent. Okay? What's next? In deeper study, you will find that the name Yah was first found on Mount Seir. I have no doubt that during the reign of Constantine, Esau passed it on to the Greeks, where it became the Edomite Greco-Tetragrammaton. I don't understand that you say don't speak Edomite, you speak English, but yet call on the Creator by an Edomite language. Well, again, seeker of the truth and wisdom. That's how you see it. And you always, who wrote that, what you read? See, because again, as I said in the past, we got a book here that it says it's got the name of Yah on this silver scroll. Okay? And they got a picture of the scroll. They say it was found in Yezreel in the 7th century BCE, the 600s. That's where it dates back. You know what I mean? That they found it. It was in Yezreel, what's called Yezreel, okay? But it dates all the way back to the 600s, the 7th century BCE. And it's got the name of Yah in it. They got a picture of the name of Yah blown up, I don't know, maybe 1,000 times. And you can see it's 4 letters. You can see them plain. And you know, you read it from right to left. And the second and the fourth letter are the exact same letters. You know, it's kind of fragmented, but you know, you can see it plain. Okay? So now I don't know where that comes from, what you read, or where you got that from. But again, you know, yeah, I speak English. You know what I mean? That's referred to in this 28th chapter of Yeshaya, in the sense of, you know, Yah is saying that, you know, his servant is going to speak to this people in reference to the descendants of Ephraim that are over in the land, the so-called Palestinians, in another tongue, with a stammering lips and another tongue. I speak English. And I you know, as I've said in the past, you know, somewhat I possibly barely can speak that, you know. Yada's always chastening me about verbs and conjugating verbs and whatnot. I just speak from my heart. You understand? I'm not supposed to be a scholar, Rhodes scholar in that manner, right? But, you know, I speak English. You know, hopefully, for too long, I'll be speaking Hebrew Israelite, a pure Hebrew Israelite. What's next?
He corrected himself. He meant Alexander, not Constantine, but that's...
Yeah, because I you know, I saw that. Yada said you corrected yourself. You meant Alexander, not Constantine, right? Because that's totally, you know, backwards. But again, I have no doubt. You know, Esau knows the name. You know, that's why they've done their best to try to keep us from it and everybody else. Okay. That's why I've said in the past about that Yahweh. I read many years ago that was a modern reconstruction. Before Yah revealed his name to me, as I've spoken of in the past, I knew as soon as I saw it was a modern reconstruction, I knew that wasn't right by saying it was a modern reconstruction. Okay, what's next? What is Ezekiel chapter 38, verses 1 through 23 talking about it. I don't even have to go there. It's talking about the last battle. 38 and 39 is talking about the last battle. That's what it's talking about. And that last battle is also that last verse talking about Zechariah chapter 14. Okay? And that last is not going to take place until the sacrifices all. Those of the children of Israel who have returned to Yah in the land. The land has been brought back. We become the granary. We would have become the granary for the world for a few years. And as I've spoken of in the past at different times, and the wealth of the world is basically in Israel. Because again, like I said, we're going to move, and we're not taking any, right? Taking any paper, and we definitely not taking any Bitcoins, okay, or encrypted currency. And we're going to get attacked, okay, by those nations that you see there in chapter 38. Okay, Yah's only going to leave a sixth of those nations that come against us. 5, 6 are going to die, and many people in the land are going to die who are truly not about Yah at that time. I call that the final cut. The last cut. If I didn't cover something, put something back up there again. All right. Who was this Shiloh in Genesis 49:10? Is it making reference to Shiloh in 1 Samuel, verse 2? Or chapter 2. Well, again, Shiloh was destroyed. The first Shiloh in 49:10 that you see in Genesis is in reference to when Yah says there should not be a lawgiver, that departs from between the feet of Yahudah until Shiloh comes. Well, when Shiloh came in the book of Yahushua, who was governor? Wasn't Joshua governor? And what tribe did Yahushua come from? He was out of the tribe of Ephraim. Was he not? So the scepter had departed from between the feet of Yahudah when Shiloh came. And Shiloh was destroyed in 1 Samuel, was it not? That's why Yah refers to it, where is it, over in Jeremiah? I think it's chapter 31. He said, go to where I placed my name at the first and see what I did to it. Talking about Shiloh. He names it. He says, look what I did to Shiloh. He destroyed it. And then the Ark of the Covenant was taken by the Philistines, was it not? That's when Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas died. Hophni and Phinehas died in the war for their iniquity, and their father died for his iniquity shortly thereafter when he heard the Ark of the Covenant was taken. Isn't that right? It was taken over in Philistia. Yah smote the Philistines, right? He gave them hemorrhoids and smote them with mice, and they figured it out after they got in such a bad shape, and they sent the Ark of the Covenant back. And then David went to get the Ark, but he didn't do it right. Right? He didn't do it right. That's why Yah broke forth and killed Uzzah. Isn't that right? Because Uzzah wasn't a Levite. Right? So then, you understand, after some contemplation for about, what was it? I think it was about 2 months. 2 months. The Ark of the Covenant was over in Obed-Edom's house. That's where they had taken it. And Yah blessed the house of Obed-Edom. And then David figured it out. The First Chronicles chapter 15. Yah by his spirit allowed David to understand. Isn't that how Yah communicates to us? By his spirit, but now through his word. And again, David had the word that was, in existence at that time. And he was trying to figure out how to bring the ark to Jerusalem, because Yah basically already showed him that's where it's supposed to be. And so David figured it out, and he realized, and you go to First Chronicles chapter 15 to read about it. Right? David said, with Yah's spirit upon me, he made me to understand. Only the Levites can handle the ark. But we're not even going to have an ark anymore. Read Jeremiah chapter 3. That ain't not even going to be remembered, not even going to be done anymore. Okay, what's next? Okay, in 2 Samuel 21:8, it says that because Saul's daughter had 5 sons. You didn't read that there.
She was.
If it says that, that's a misprint, because she didn't have no sons. From what I understand, it says that you follow me? Yaakov didn't, she didn't have any children. Let me go there and check this out since you bringing that. Hold
I
on.
think that's supposed to be Merab, her sister.
Okay.
She raised her
Second
up.
Samuel. Maybe you heard Yada what she said. 2 Samuel 21:8.
Because it has here.
Okay. Yada's seen that. And she says that was Michal's sister, not Michal. 2 Samuel 21:8. Wait a minute, I'm almost there.
And she brought him up.
Okay, read it again and you'll see. He says the 5 sons, Michal, the daughter of for Adriel, the son of Barzillai, the Mahalathite. It says over in the concordance, Michal's sister.
Right.
Okay? It was Michal's sister.
M-E-R-A-B, it should be a mistranslation.
M-A-R-U-B.
M-E-R-A-B.
Okay, M-E-R-U-B. What is it?
M-E-R-A-B.
Okay, maybe you heard Yada. M-E-R-A-B. Merab. M-E-R-A-B. Not Michal. Okay? Well, that's good you brought that out. Just keep doing it. That's good reading. Keep reading like that, so we can get all this stuff out clear. What's next? Wait a minute. I think you passed something, didn't you?
No.
What's that there? What's that?
This is what
Oh,
you just
okay.
said.
All right. Okay, Genesis 9:19-24. I'm not sure, but was Canaan cursed because he was the one that was responsible for anything that was done during that time. Again, Canaan is the seed of incest. Ham had sex with his mother. He was a bastard. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 23. Okay? Bastards can't enter into the congregation of Yah forever. That's why the Moabites and Ammonites, definitely the males, is not going to be able to come in. Now, if you got any of the women who's like Ruth, you know what I'm saying? They might be able to come in. Definitely, if they've never had another man, we have to wait and see. But eventually, Moabites and Ammonites are going to, be taken off the earth. Won't be in existence anymore eventually. And the Canaanites, you got Canaanites here, they won't be in existence anymore. In regards to the Canaanites, let's go to Zechariah chapter 14, that same chapter I just mentioned that's talking about the last battle. What's next? Have you ever heard about Shakespeare having, I've heard about that, right, in the New Testament. I do know that the Edomites are the ones who came up with the NIT, but I first heard about Shakespeare writing things in the New Testament when I was about 19, but didn't clearly understand it until now. Well, again, who was Shakespeare? Was he an Edomite? And again, the New Testament had already started to form, I would say, long before Shakespeare came on the scene. But I read something many years ago where they said they was been fooling with the New Testament all the way up to 1967. They've been making changes, adding stuff and whatnot, because they made so many mistakes and y'all didn't allow them to see it till later. They trying to cover up those holes. You follow what I'm saying? That's why I've said in the past how I see it. That's why they've come up with these later editions, like the NIV and whatnot, trying to cover up those holes that Yah didn't allow them to see initially, that they, some of their, descendants saw much later, and they're trying to cover those things up. You see what I'm saying? But it's too late, because again, that's why Yah's got that King James Authorized Version. You see what I'm saying? And that's the one that's all over the world. Yah didn't, from what I can see, he didn't allow them to start seeing a lot of this stuff until after that King James Version had been put out for some time. And then Yah lifted the veil, because it's Yah that allows you to see and understand or not see and understand. I don't care whoever you are. Okay, are Cain and Abel twins? Because they only talk about Cain and Seth conception, not Abel. But again, in this regard, I don't look at them as twins. They were just in the womb at the same time because they had different fathers. Simple as that. I don't look at them as being twins. Okay? You got different fathers. Now, what's next? Okay, also, Brother Yahuda, have you ever heard about Paul, who was talked about in the New Testament being the first pope? Because I saw that in the past, investigating who he was a little over 2 years ago. Okay, again, I think I heard that's kind of say, came to my mind, but it doesn't matter. I mean, to me, these things about the New Testament is neither here nor there. I mean, I don't get all involved in the New Testament like that. What for? I already know it's garbage. When I see New Testament, that let me know it's null and void. Again, Malachi 3:6, Yah say he don't change. New means a change. The good spell. So I don't get hung up into that. And anybody that's in the New Testament, okay, that you possibly know, and you're going back and forth with them, and they in the New Testament, you might as well leave off, because they ain't going to understand anything that you lay on them anyway. Again, Ezekiel chapter 14. Simple as that. Okay, what's next? Ezekiel chapter 48:1, after this last and final temple is built, I see the tribes will be in their inheritance, and I see the tribe of Dan gets a portion. If that's so, then would that make 13 tribes? Well, again, it's 13 tribes mentioned. Okay? You go back to Genesis chapter 48 and see what you see what Yisrael, Jacob, said to Yahoseh. He took Yahoseh's two sons to himself. He said, they're mine. You follow me? He said, all the rest of the sons you have after this are yours, but these two are mine. He gave them an equal share in Israel, in inheritance. Okay? So again, when you take out Yahoseh, right? Now you got 11 boys. You put in 2, you got 13. And that's known as the house of Yahoseh. Huh? Now we see that in Obadiah. The house of Yahoseh, that's the one's going to put the killing, you understand, on the Edomites that's over there in the land today. Ephraim, Manasseh. And I'm not saying it's going to be all of them, but the ones who's going to put the killing on them, they descended out of those 2 tribes. What's next? Can a man have more than one wife? Absolutely. That's in the book.
It's the law, right?
Yeah, a man can have more than one wife, especially if he can take care. I mean, as I've said in the past, a man's not supposed to have any wives if he cannot take care of. All right? If he cannot, afford a wife, he's not really supposed, according to law, he ain't supposed to have one. But we do know we're in a situation where we have to look at the time and what we're in. So, it could very well be a man might have a wife. He might not have a job. She might have one. He might be relegated to keeping house. Okay? Because that's what we're living in. That's how things have been, constructed. And, the 2 people got to understand, and that can still be, that can work. Even if he's got 2 or 3 wives. You understand that have jobs and he doesn't. That can still work, but the people are going to have a firm grasp of understanding. It can't be an emotional thing, because it's not going to work. Okay? See, but as time, eventually it will change around. Definitely, possibly before we leave, but definitely after we get back. The man will be in his proper perspective, women will be in their proper perspective. He'll be able to take care of his wives. Because again, they won't take these jobs. A woman's got a job here, she ain't taking that job back to the land with her. You follow what I'm saying? So again, you have to take everything into consideration and just read the book. Yeah, a man can have more than one wife. All right, so a bastard is someone born by a mother and a son. Correct.
No, it's incest.
I mean, that's incest is a bastard. That produces a bastard. If a man has a child by his mother, that child is a bastard. That's incest. Deuteronomy 23rd chapter. And a bastard cannot enter into the congregation of Yah forever.
Well, if a man has a child by his daughter, right?
Yeah, if a man has a child by his daughter, that's a bastard too. That's incest. Again, nothing, no child, you understand, can enter the congregation of Yah. That's a bastard. That's come from incest. That's why, again, eventually you won't have any Moabites or Ammonites or Canaanites. Okay, brother, you wearing the book, does it talk about wearing the wrong clothes in the land and being punished for it, and the type of...
It keeps doing
I did just mess with, they plopped the screen, so just hold on. But what you asked me is in Leviticus.
19:19 and Deuteronomy 22:11.
Okay, Leviticus 19:19 and Deuteronomy 20 chapter
22:11.
22:11. And that's where you go to find out about that. And it also says about wearing strange apparel in one of these other prophetic books. To get to the place, anybody wearing strange apparel in the land is going to be taken out. Okay, it escapes me exactly what book that's in. I can find it for you in a minute, but you can look it up under strange apparel. Okay, and it's going to say it's in one of these books. I can't remember prophetic books.
Zephaniah 1:8.
Zephaniah 1:8. Eventually, you follow what I'm saying? Anybody wearing strange apparel, don't have that ribbon of blue and them fringes on, and you understand, they're not going to stay in the land. They're going to be taken out. Zephaniah 1:8. Okay, I just asked when I explained it to other people who asked about it. Okay, all right. That's what I'm telling you. Other people, if they into that New Testament, I don't care what you say to them. If they want to, what I mean, if they ain't going to understand what you're saying anyway, because they blocked out, because they're in idolatry. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Okay, I'm not authorizing book use as evidence in fact of reproof, only true ties.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. SIAM, you must have typed it wrong. Looks like I don't know what that is. You got to retype that. Yuma, whoever you are. All right? You cannot serve what?
Man, God.
Oh, man and God. Okay.
That's among themselves.
You talking among yourselves? Okay. Okay, in response to y'all being pronounced as Y-A, well, you meant Y-A-H-H. I don't know any Edomites pronouncing y'all's name that way. Well, the Edomites are not going to do it. Oh, that's Malcolm. You did it. But the Edomites are not going to do it. The Edomites avoid saying y'all's name any kind of way. Okay? Okay, you playing games, so we'll just disregard you from now on, all right? How long do you think it will take to construct the third temple? Again, there's no need really speculating on that. The deal is, once the Jerusalem movement gets back, once the Edomites are run out and judged, and the Jerusalem movement is taken back by Yah through the elite of the earth, when we get back, then we got to go through a little something. It ain't going to be long with these Assyrians, because we're going to start, you understand, that's our main objective, is to cleanse Jerusalem so that the temple can be built. But Yah says he's going to hasten everything. Everything is being hastened now. So I don't look at the temple's going to take 7 years like it took those other two when they were built. I don't look at it's going to take that long. That's for sure. When y'all say he's hastening it and timing it to serve it, I look at it just like that. Okay, and the temple's going to be built. It might take 4 years, 5 years, but it ain't. I don't see it taking 7. All right. Okay, I noticed on the video lessons what you wear. Where can I get garments like that? Well, again, you just go down there to where you see Zion Train put up.
No, you Abijah.
Abijah, you put that up. Okay, you go down there, Abijah, you put that up. Yeshua, Zion Train, HTTP. You just go down there and look at that, and that's where you can maybe order you some things. Okay, what's next? I see you got it. Okay.
Okay, so does that mean Isaac is a bastard since Abraham and Sarah are incest? Well, again, you see what happened with Isaac, but at the same time, I mean, yeah, again, we see what jumped off. See, this was done when Abraham, that's why I say again, didn't have the law. Okay? Now, we know Yah is greatly merciful, right? So now what can I say? I mean, you know, we see Isaac didn't keep Yah first. We see that. You know, like I've noted over in Micah chapter 7, the last chapter, he's going to perform the mercy to Abraham and the truth in Israel. Isaac's not mentioned there. And we see, like I said, Isaac eventually put himself before Yah. So, again, what can I say? You know, but Lot knew the law, huh? Even though it said his daughters got him drunk, but still, you know, if he knew the law, I'm sure he taught it to his daughters, right? They knew the law, right? As did Adam and Eve. Okay, and should I say Noah? Noah knew the law. You know, he raised his children, I'm sure, in the law. They knew the law. But again, you know, and in both cases, as in the cases that I direct you to Ezekiel chapter 18, go there and read that. Okay, where can you buy the correct apparel? I would like to start wearing it now. Well, just go back up there, Malaya, and see what Abijah put up there about Zion Train. www.yahrighteousnesshome.org clothing GT. I guess that's the link. Okay, what's next? You can make your own if you know how to sew, or know somebody who can sew. You can just, you know, have them make you some things that, you know, make sure that fringe is on there at the bottom. Make sure, you understand, you got that ribbon of blue over against the fringe, like it says in Numbers chapter 20. Right? Is it 20 or 15? Matter of fact, I think that's Numbers 15 chapter. Yeah. Okay, what if my current wife is not okay with me having another wife? Should I not take one? Well, again, if your current wife is not okay with following the law, you need to get rid of her. Simple as that. Because it's either, like I said earlier, it's all the law or nothing. You follow what I'm saying? We're getting in harmony with the law. So anybody that's in resistance to any part of the law, then they're the ones that are in trouble. Where can you... Okay, how did Isaac put himself before Yah? He put himself before Yah because he was addicted to the savory meat, the venison, which only Esau could provide for him. Just like Esau provides the heroin and the crack and the crank and the alcohol, and the marijuana to the people today, wherever they are, that desire those things. Esau provides those things for them, right? And he provided what Isaac, his father, was addicted to, because Isaac couldn't go hunting it because he was blind. Yah took his sight because Isaac put himself before Yah. I've talked about this in the past. Okay? All right? And when I first talked about it some years back, this same person who I was talking about earlier, who says, you know, you need to throw out about Abraham and throw out Jacob, he attacked me on the internet. It was brought to my attention saying that I castigated one of the patriarchs. But at the same time, he doesn't understand, okay, because Isaac put himself before Yah because he was going to bless Esau. Isn't that right? He was going to bless Esau. Isn't that what he told him? Go out there and get me that savory meat that my soul loves, that I can bless you before I die. He wasn't concerned about death, literal death. Isaac wasn't talking about he was literally going to die insofar as because he was 80 years old. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't because of that, because he was 80 years old. It was because that he was, matter of fact, how old was he? 80? No, matter of fact, how old was he then? Because he had the children at 60, they was 40, so he was 100. He wasn't talking about old age, though. He was talking about his addiction, because he was so addicted,
He wanted that savory meat. He hadn't gotten it because Esau had played him, had withheld bringing his father that savory meat that only he could go out and catch. Because, you know, we talk about deer. You got to be an adept hunter to hunt deer. And we told in the book that Jacob was not a hunter. He sawed pottage. He ate lamb possibly, but you don't have to hunt lamb. He ate beef, but you don't have to hunt beef. But you got to hunt deer. And it was Esau that was the adept hunter. And knowing Esau, he done plotted, you understand, to withhold his father's addiction from him until his father said just what he said to him. Go out there, man, and get me that savory meat. Before I die, I got to have it. I'm addicted. I got to have my fix. And that's when Esau ran out to go get it. But Rebekah heard it, you see. And Esau, you understand, Isaac knew Esau wasn't about Yah. He understood that. Doesn't it relate that in the book when it says that Esau took 2 wives who were Hamites, who were a vexation to Isaac and Rebekah? Doesn't it say that? Doesn't it say that, you understand, Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his venison, not because Esau was about Yah? And as I've spoken in the past, and then it says that Rebekah loved Jacob, but it doesn't tell us why. So Esau took that out of the book, why she loved Jacob. And why did she love Jacob? As we see, she loved Jacob because Jacob was all about Yah, like she was. Okay? Simple as that. That's not hard to understand, is it? That's how Isaac messed up. And as I've said in the past, Isaac disobeyed the lesson that had been taught to him by Yah. You follow me? When Yah had Abraham bring Isaac up on the mountain to sacrifice it. And Esau changed that in there, okay? Because on the way up to Mount Moriah, the Mount of Yah, Moriah, the Mount of Yah, Isaac asked Abraham, where's the lamb? And what did Abraham respond? Yah Yida, he who creates shall provide. Yah shall provide, my son. But when he got him up there, he started tying him up, didn't he? And now Isaac knows he's the offering. Right? So now when Abraham's getting ready to kill Isaac, because Yah had said, bring him up, the boy up here and sacrifice him to me, Yah stopped him. Right? Now the way Esau has got in the translation, he's got that Yah said to Abraham, don't kill the boy, Abraham, for now I know that you would withhold nothing from me. Well, we know Yah didn't say that, don't we? Tell me what Yah doesn't know. Everything is before Yah. He's the first and the last. So we know Yah didn't say that. What Yah said was, don't kill the boy Abraham, for now Isaac knows that you don't put anything before me. That was for Isaac, not Abraham. Abraham was already doing anything and everything that Yah told him. Just the way Yah told him. So that was a lesson for Isaac. But what happened? Isaac didn't hold that lesson because later on in life, he put himself before Yah because he was going to bless Esau. And he knew Esau didn't care anything about keeping the laws and the commandments of Yah. Isn't that why Esau sold his birthright? And again, what does the birthright entail? Responsibility and obligation, keeping the law of Yah, keeping the light of Yah, keeping the vision of Yah, which is keeping the law. But Esau sold his birthright because he didn't care about keeping the law, but he wanted the blessing. Like most folks want. They want the blessing, but they don't want to put the work in. They don't want to do what Yah says, but they want Yah to bless them. As if they did what he said. All right, I need a pattern first to go by, then I can have them made. Okay, well again, you know, you understand? You talk about basically kind of Eastern dress. You a woman, it looks like, so you want something to be with discretion. You know, like I told the sister just here the other week. You understand? You're not gonna be having anything made above your knee or right below your knee. You're gonna be dressed with discretion. You know, like it says in Proverbs, like a jewel of gold is in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman who is without discretion. It's out of place, isn't it? If you see a jewel of gold in a pig's nose, that's out of place, isn't it? Well, that's the same thing as a woman that has no discretion. So whatever you make is going to be discretionary. You understand? You're going to be covered. You're not going to be wearing something like, you ain't going to be coming out looking like Beyonce. Or what's that other chick's name? The one always, what's her name?
Gaga?
No, yeah, Lady Gaga. You can put her too, and that other one, the Latino chick.
Oh, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, you don't want to come out looking like Jennifer Lopez, half naked with the, you know. You understand? You want to be discretionary. What's next?
Just a regular, give them something.
Well, you know. Okay, the Cedars of Dope, what is it? Okay, hold on. Okay, the Cedars of Dope, what is he doing in captivity? Is this third and last temple he would minister unto the Most High daily? Is he going the same thing? Is he doing the same thing in captivity right now, preparing for his job in the future? Well, again, he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know yet. I mean, when you read the book, Genesis through Malachi, it doesn't have anything in there that we can identify the Cedars of Dope now. So that has to be revealed to us by Yah, and I don't see that being done till we get on the other side, till we get back. Okay? The only one right now that I see in the book that's defined, that we understand who he is and what line he's from because of what he's doing, is the seed of David that Yah said he would raise up. Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 9, and that he said in Jeremiah chapter 23 verse 5 and 6 what he would be called, Yah righteousness. That's the only way we know who he is. And again, Yah is saying in chapter 50, Yeshaya, that we would know who he is, those of us who read and study this word of Yah. Chapter 50, Yeshaya. Because that's the only way that those who walk in darkness, that have no light, that but obeys the voice of Yah's servant. You understand? The only way you can discern Yah's servant, you got to read and study this book. But everybody else, not going to truly be revealed what line they are per se until we get back. Okay, while working here in this land and having to work and wear their apparel, will we be judged for wearing theirs? No. Just make sure, you know, get in harmony with 100% cotton, 100% wool, 100% linen, 100% silk. Okay? Now, as far as the uniforms, well, that's their uniform. You working a job wearing their uniform. Hey, you understand? You working a job. So you wearing their uniform. But you know, you want to wear something that's going to be conducive to your body as far as letting it breathe, but, you know. Okay, so what kind of meat was Isaac eating? He was eating deer meat. I said that. Venison. That's what he was addicted to. Okay, that's, you know, that's all the way cool. Deer meat is cool if you like it. What's next? Is it okay to attend Bible study to try to bring this truth to some in the Christian church? You wasting your time. You wasting your time.
We shouldn't be going into church.
You shouldn't even be going into the house of idol worship anyway. Okay? And again, I cite you Ezekiel chapter 14. You know, it's also, that's what Yah is talking about in Yeshaya chapter 48 in regards to the brothers that's in that Demona movement, wherever they are. Okay, will you please explain the verse that says he was wounded for our transgressions and by his stripes we are healed? Again, this person, this seed of David, when he awakens to the fact, sees his seed, 53:10 Yeshaya, and connects with his past and understands he's a descendant of Israel. Then as he keeps reading, he comes to understand the only way he can stop his pain, the only way he can stop this curse that's over his head. You understand? And initially, he doesn't even understand that he's under a double curse. He just thinks he's under a curse. But he knows he's in pain because of the curse. Once he awakens and reads so far and gets so much understanding. So he's determined to establish the way of the Most High. He doesn't even know the Most High's name at first, but he's determined he's going to serve it. He's going to establish his way because he wants to end his pain. Now, you understand? When his pain ends, it only ends with what? When the temple is built and the sacrifices is on. Now, it's a whole lot involved to even get to that. And that means what? Peeling the onion. As we just were reading earlier. Huh? Yeshaya chapter 53, who have believed our report? Yeshaya chapter 28. And it's a vexation for the Edomites to understand the report. Huh? Because everything is getting what? Yah through the servant, this seed of David that he raises up, is doing what? He's peeling the onion. He's revealing everything and everybody. He's revealing everything and everybody. You see. And so now, this is what? This is the stone in Daniel chapter 2 that we put on the front of the fly. That's hidden the image of the kingdoms of man, the image of Nebuchadnezzar, of the kingdoms of man, these 4 kingdoms. And the image starts to what? Break up and crumble up and be destroyed. And what is the power of the stone? The power is Yah. And what is this? You understand that Yah, the power of the stone, is bringing through the stone truth. Truth. And that truth is like fire. And the people who are not about it, they get burned up by it. That's why you got so many that rise up against it. Israelites, Hamites, Shemites, Gentiles, Edomites. Because that truth burns them up. It's revealing. You follow me? When you understand the truth, when you understand the word of the Most High, you're in this book reading and studying, and Yah starts to illuminate you, and you totally commit and submit, and he starts to illuminate you more and more and more. You see things in reality. You see everybody in reality. There's no more hiding now. Okay? And then when people see you, and they know how you used to be, and they see you how you are now, see? A lot of people, different one, they try to knock you off the path, try to turn you back. First thing they do, they attack you and tell you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know your own mind. You a fool. You crazy. Isn't that what we see in 53 Yeshaya? At the top? Isn't that what we see? See? But again, this person and these persons who are determined, just like what you see in the 42nd chapter of Yeshaya. It's talking about this seed of David there. You see what it said? Then it say, he shall not rest until he has set judgment in the earth. You understand? Another place say the isles wait for his law. Because the world is really waiting. Many, many, many people in the world are waiting for this truth now. You know what I mean? It's different people who know it to some degree because they're not in Israel. You attention that some of these Republicans, as hard as they are on, like in America, know about this, and they got their foot all the way up, but stand because they want us to be what we supposed to be. Esau's foot out. His foot off their neck. I know it. We were here last night. Okay? The times that have called here, you understand me? They want to get Esau's foot off of their neck. Look what Esau does. See, listen. Yah has mercy. How many times have I said that today? Yah is greatly merciful. Yah is greatly merciful. Well, again, like I said earlier, I direct you to Ezekiel chapter 18. Does Esau have any mercy? Does the Illuminati Edomite have any mercy? These Amalekites, they don't have any mercy. They don't even care about their own people. Like I brought out in the past. Look what they did back in 1880 with them pogroms that they instigated and sent them thugs in on their own people over there in Central Europe. Beat them, burned them out, destroyed their homes and whatnot, killed some, and ran them up out of there, ran them over here to America. Look what the Illuminati Edomite did with the so-called Holocaust, as I said in the past, that he perpetrated on his own people. As I said in the past, and this is some years ago when we did shows with Mark Seal, you understand, back there in 36 and 37, you understand, 38, it was different ships that came over here filled with Edomites running from, as they call it, Nazi Germany. And what happened? The Illuminati Edomite that runs America had them, wouldn't allow them to disembark off them ships, had them sitting back over there to Dachau. You follow me? To the ovens, as they say. Even though, you know, a lot of this is propaganda in regards to those ovens, like I've said in the past. The reason why the Germans was burning up them Edomite bodies, because them Edomites had contracted pneumonic plague. When you get that pneumonic plague, you got to burn the body. They were being bitten by rats who had the plague in those concentration camps. Because them Germans was being, you know, when you got further deeper into the war, you follow what I'm saying about them last couple of years, 2-3 years of World War II? You understand? Germany was up against it. They had the chokehold on them. You understand? Read some of this history, of some real history about World War II, and check out what you're going to read. The Allied forces could have ended the war in 1942. The war could have ended. You know, the only reason they kept it going for another 3 years, because the Russians had been hemmed up in Russia by the German army. You understand what I'm saying? And couldn't break out and get control of them central nations in Europe like the Illuminati wanted them to get control of, like they eventually got control of in the next 3 years. Because they wanted those nations, you understand, like Czechoslovakia and Poland, you understand, they wanted those nations to be in the Eastern Bloc, in communism, so that they could perpetrate the next phase of their plan on the world. You understand what I'm saying? Communism, capitalism, East against the West against the East. And that was their plan. So they held the war for another 3 years. And it was during that time, you understand, that Germany had that chokehold on them. They didn't have no lot of food. So you think they was going to give food to the Edomites that they had incarcerated? You understand? Because Hitler understood. He found out too late, though, that he was being played. That's why he sent that boy Rudolf Hess over to England to speak to Chamberlain. You understand? Rudolf Hess, check your history, check some real history. You understand? Rudolf Hess, they kept Rudolf Hess incarcerated till he died in East Germany, behind the Iron Curtain. You understand? Rudolf Hess just died around 1990, 1991, somewhere around there. They kept him incarcerated. They never let him out. You know why? Because he understood all of this. He knew what the deal was about World War II. Hitler sent Rudolf Hess, parachuted him into England to speak to Chamberlain, to try to get the English to side up with him against the Russians. Because Hitler had come to understand that the Illuminati forces, you follow me, and he knew that was going to attack. That's why when you study history, he wheeled around when he had England and France at his mercy. You understand? He could have knocked off England like with a snap of the fingers. I know they messing with that. I knew they was going to mess with that. Hold on. They messing with everything. Won't even let the phone ring. I know that's who it is. Keep it going.
It's gone.
Yeah, I know, you understand, they was going to mess with that. They don't want people to understand that. See, because you got to read some of these books that haven't been under control. You see what I'm saying? And some of these authors of this history that has come out over the last 56 years, 60 years. You follow me? You go into that history, real history, and you'll read about these things. All right? That whole World War II was planned. World War I was planned. All these wars been planned. Like I said in the past, what Mel Gibson said was true. The Edomites, the Jews, been behind all of this stuff. But it's the Illuminati Edomite. It's not all the Edomites. Because like I said, the Illuminati Edomite, he perpetrated World War II. He allowed all that to happen to his people. He don't care about them. These Illuminati Edomites don't have any mercy for anybody but themselves. You know what I'm saying? They'll even kill some of their own. Just like I just said at this session, right? At the beginning of the Q&A. You got about 20 bankers. I know some of them Edomites supposedly committed suicide. You hear what I said? Supposedly. This Amalekite Edomite has no mercy. You think these Gentiles and different other people, nationalities, you think they don't know that? Of these ones who's informed, who have knowledge? What you think gonna drive these kings and these queens and these earls? You understand what I'm saying? And it's probably some of these dukes who's English, you know what I mean, or whatever. And some of these other people, what you think gonna drive them, these elite, these Gentiles, what you think gonna drive them to the way of the Most High? Because they see these Illuminati Amalekite Edomites are nuts, and they can't do anything to stop them. Why? Because Yah empowers these Amalekite Edomites. They're the sword in his hand. That's why I said to the sister earlier, I'm pretty sure that was a sister that put that up about the silver and gold and whatever assets you might have. When you're with Yah, he's your strength and shield. He's your protection against these Illuminati Edomites. Because he's the, and everybody and everything else. Because he's the one that empowers them. He only going to nullify them for his holy name's sake. So everybody that's standing in the name of Yah, under his shadow of his wing, embraced into his bosom, you know what I'm saying? And in submission to the law with all their heart and soul, that's what gets you under the shadow of Yah's wing. That's what gets you endeared into his bosom. You under Yah's protection. And that's what makes the sword in Yah's hand impotent, of none effect. Go to 48th chapter Yeshaya, verse 14. That's this movement is talking about, the arm of Yah. What does he say? Mine arm is going to do his pleasure. On Babylon, on the Chaldeans. Well, isn't that what you hear? How many times has this phone rang since we've been on? How many times has it gotten choppy? Like I said, not long ago. You understand? That's why we had to start recording the sessions. And now we do the Q&A. It's live. You see they're attacking it to a certain degree. Even with that, Yah still allows different things to come out. Because this is his message. And his message is going to get out until he's ready to shut it down. And again, like I cited before, when you go to Zechariah chapter 9, what does Yah say there? When this Jerusalem movement is brought out and is back in the land, what does Yah say? I still promise double to you prisoners of hope who are in the pit wherein there is no water. And that's in reference to the second gathering, the ones who will still be here after the Jerusalem movement goes. Because again, when these different Israelites and other people too, you understand, but definitely these different Israelites who are not aware right now, who are out of harmony with Yah. Some are awakened, but they're not going to be ready to go back with this Jerusalem movement because they straddling the fence. They're not in harmony with the law. They violating the Sabbath day. They got it backwards, or they coming out. You understand? They're still eating turkey and chicken eggs. They make excuses for going to work on the Sabbath day. Oh, you can't do the Sabbath here in captivity. Yah knows I gotta work. He understands. Like I said earlier, tell me what y'all don't understand. It's whether you understand. Now, do you have faith in Yah or not? Do you trust in Yah or not? Is he who creates or not? But you're going to have different Israelites. They know they Israel right now, but they still straddling the fist. They out of harmony with this message. They fighting it. You got Israelites, majority of Israelites here, they don't know they Israel yet. They haven't awakened. They still trying to mix with the iron. But when the Jerusalem movement is taken out of here, I cite you again, go to the 52nd chapter of Yeshaya. You see what it says there, My servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. Why? Because he represents me, the king. He said the whole world is going to see when I bring again Zion. And all the watchmen going to see eye to eye. They're going to all be in agreement. So now when this happens, right? The rest of Israel here, that's when Ezekiel 35 kicks in. And wherever else they are, they go like, man, I guess we Israelites, look at that. So now, Yah is saying in Zechariah chapter 9, he still promises double to these prisoners of hope who will still be here in this furnace of affliction, in the pit wherein there is no water. Because when y'all righteous leave out here, there ain't going to be no more water there. Where are the people going to go? You different times when I was doing the session today and previous sessions, I'm doing the session, don't you hear the phone ringing? You hear the phone beep, 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 ringing different times? I just don't answer it when I'm doing the session. Well, that's people calling. And why are they calling? What are we doing right now? You're putting up questions. Huh? Everybody in the room is sitting there listening. They have questions. They sitting there listening. You got the book open. If you wise, you got your book open. You're taking notes. You're recording, or you're gonna go back over this later. You're gonna go in the book. You're gonna read. You're gonna study. You're gonna pray to Yah for wisdom, understanding, and you're gonna do what you read. In that, don't I keep saying that? That's the recipe. Read, study, pray, and do. Isn't that what Yah told Adam and Eve? You can eat of me freely, but the day you go off doing something other than what I done laid before you, that's the day when you setting yourself up for premature death. You're going to die. You cutting yourself off from me. You get no illumination. You have no light. You walking around in the imagination of your own heart. So when Yah righteous leaves out of here, where the people going to call? Quite naturally, yeah, they can call on Yah without a doubt. But doesn't that takes some time? Remember what I said earlier. Yeshua chapter 28, line upon line, precept upon precept, here and there, here a little, there a little. That's how everybody gets it. The only way you can speed this up, again, when we're talking about this, when you listen to the things that come forth out of Yah righteous, like I said on the last Q&A, you understand, and possibly the last session, the reason why people listen to this movement is because they've been in this book, they've been reading different things for however long. They've been listening, like people tell me all the time, they listen to other groups, just like somebody said earlier in the room today, they listen to other movements, but they can't get any coherence. They can't get any illumination. But when they listen to the things that come forth out of Yah righteousness, Yah illuminates them. And they start hearing things and understanding things that they didn't understand before. You hear things coming out of Yah righteousness you never heard from any other group, put in the way that Yah brings it through Yah righteousness. I'm not patting myself on the back. That's Yah. I ain't taking credit for it. That's the Most High. What's next?
Now that this last one you just healing in this way, let me know that there's a breakdown of Isaiah 53 on the website.
Again, she's saying it's a breakdown of Isaiah, Yeshua chapter 53 on the website. You can go there and listen to it as many times as you want, because it's involved. It took about an hour and 45 minutes to break that down. That's what Decoya and I did back in February 4th, 2010. It's on the website.
Healing in his wings.
Okay, healing in his wings. That's for you. Now, what's next?
Who is Elijah the prophet of Malachi?
Again, El-Eah the prophet is the seed of David. That's all. As I've said in the past, El-Eah, as it's properly pronounced, El-Eah, the strong one is he who creates. That's what it means. When you go to 1 Kings 18th chapter, you'll see that the original El-Eah, go there and read it and see what he said to the people who were into Baal. And when you go there and read that, get you some books that tell you, some of these Bible dictionaries, look up Baal. You understand? And see the rundown on Baal. Baal was the son of El in the Canaanite deity, in the Canaanite religion. And Baal was not the principal idol in the Canaanite deity initially. El was. El was the father of Baal. But over a period of time, Baal superseded his father and became the preeminent idol in the Canaanite religion. And this also became the religion of other nations as well. All right? Now, the reason why Yah's got El-Eah there in Malachi 4 chapter 4 is because he's saying, I'm going to bring forth the ear of the prophet. Now, the way Esau translated it, it says he's going to turn the heart of the children to the fathers. Again, that father should be singular, not plural, because it's talking about Yah. Just like you see at the beginning of the book of Malachi, chapter 1. And what does Yah say? If I'm thy father, where's my honor? If I'm thy master, where's my fear? Okay? That's the same father that's over there in chapter 4. It's talking about Yah. But Esau put an S behind it to throw you off. And again, the way he translated it is like this person, you understand? He gonna turn the people to Yah. And he gonna turn the heart of Yah to the people. But he can only direct, not turn. Again, I cite you Ezekiel chapter 18. You got to turn yourself. Like I've said in the past, I said today earlier. You understand? You understand? It's only for me to bring this truth out. That's why when Elisha back there in 2010 plotted with that sister that he had called in here for about 4 months prior, he plotted this whole thing out. But like I said, all he had to do was pick up the phone and call me and say, I want to debate you on these issues, and it would have been no problem. But he was a snake. So he got her to call him for about 3 to 4 months prior, and then she brought it to me. Okay? And they engineered this whole thing. This was revealed to me about 15, 20 minutes into that debate. I understood what had been done. See, but I remember when I said this in the past, when it first came around, and she ended up telling me, this sister, she said, I can't set it up the way I want to set it up. She said, but I was talking to Elisha. He said we could do it on his radio show. And I said to her then, I said, okay, I don't care. She said, will you participate now? I said, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Because my thing is just getting the truth out. But I told her, I said, but I can see where this is going. And she lit on that. She said, what you mean? She said, what you mean? I said, well, he going to be controlling the mute buttons. She said, oh, no, he promised it won't be like that. I said, I don't care. My thing is to get the truth out. But now after that conversation, you understand, when I told Yada about it, Yada, the first thing out of her mouth, she said, why would you want to deal with that? She said, he's a liar. And you know what Yada was referring to? All the way back to 1998, January 2nd, when he called here, and the way that ended up, he said to me, brother, I want to meet you. I'm coming to Chicago in April. I want to meet. I told him, ain't no problem. We can meet. The sisters know they way here. You got the number. When you come, call me. We can get together. I didn't hear from him anymore. That's what Yada was referring to, in him being a liar. See, Yada don't forget stuff. Her mind like a steel trap. Especially when it comes to this movement and me. Okay? She's still trapped. And I told Yada when she said that, I said, I don't care. I said, it don't make no difference. My thing is to get the truth out. I don't know what his thing is and don't care. You understand? Because y'all gonna, you understand? Let the chips fall where they may. It's all about the Most High with me. I ain't trying to exalt myself. I don't even have that in my mind. My thing is to magnify and exalt Yah of hosts, the King. Yah righteous is the Most High. The one and only. Now, whatever anybody else got in their mind, let's see how far they get with that. And again, I cite you. Is he here today? Now, I didn't deal with this before. Just go to Yeshua chapter 51. He called himself attacking me, but he was attacking Yah. He just didn't see that. Is he here today? There's others that like him. Are they here? That I know. They not here either. Now, don't think that you got these different Gentiles out here. They understand it, and don't think the Illuminati and Malachite Edomite don't understand that. Yah makes him impotent. That's why Yah says in Yeshua chapter 27 verse 5 about that Illuminati Edomite, the Leviathan in the sea, in other words, in the midst of the people. What does Yah say? He gonna make peace with Yah. Didn't Amenephis II make peace with Yah? Didn't Nebuchadnezzar make peace with Yah? Don't get it twisted. See, like I said, I don't care whoever, whatever they think they are, whoever they think they are. You understand? That don't mean nothing to me. It's only Yah. First, last, and forever. Okay?
And if you with Yah, you are invulnerable. You under the protection of He who creates, the Spirit of all living things. What's next?
You finished one. Okay, can you explain Isaiah 9:6?
Again, 9:6 is self-explanatory. Can you explain Yeshaya 9:6, Isaiah 9:6, and back it up with scripture? Again, that's all I've been talking about. That's all I've been talking about. Again, what does it say? Let me pin it down for you. Okay? And again, I've talked about it in the past. Okay. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. Again, Yeshaya chapter 49. His maternal mother today. And if you want to know who she is, she's right downstairs doing the Sabbath. All right? Now, and the government should be upon his shoulder. I've explained this in the past. This Yah righteousness movement is a movement that has to be maintained. It had to be started, and it had to be maintained. I touched on some of it earlier today. Okay, just here, what was it? Not last month before last, in December. Okay, and I knew it was coming. You understand? For the trademarking. You know, for the name of Yah righteousness. Okay, we just had to redo that. You know, because you have to do that like every every 4 years. Okay, they just sent that here. We had to take care of that. You know, took care of that December, January, around the first week of January. You know, I had to take care of that. Huh? That was $1,000 to the trademark lawyers. $1,000 had to pay them to take care of everything because it's coming up. It has to be redone, not redone, but you understand, a continuation. And let them know you got to pay them money. You got to pay Esau money. The government on his shoulders. All right. Because $1,000 they don't equivocate. You can't give them 900. You got to give them 1,000. What they need. You understand? Government on his shoulders. Now, what else? And again, all the paperwork and everything, I've talked about that before. All that had to be done. You know, the articles of incorporation. You had to put together the charter. And all of it comes out this book. All of it's predicated on this book. I said this in the past. You know, the charter had to be written up. The articles of incorporation. The bylaws. And I took everything out of this book. Everything comes out of this book. Okay? Out of Yah's laws. You follow what I'm saying? So that's the government on his shoulder. And his name should be called Wonderful. Well, again, in the eyes of some, I am wonderful. People call here, they're elated, like the Gentile sister that called here last night. Okay? I told Yeshaya and Yedida about it this morning. She called in last night. And matter of fact, it wasn't last night. I take that back. It was Thursday night. You understand? Really Friday night, but it was, Thursday night technically, right? And it was a little late because sometimes I generally, when it's about 9:45 is when she called. I don't answer the phone that late. But I had the phone sitting there to me and I was going over some newspaper articles with the red pen, right? And the phone rang and I just went on and answered it because I was up. And so I answered it. And when I answered, you know how I answered, those of you who privy, Yah righteousness, peace. She said to me, and I could hear myself in the back talking, you understand? She had it on the internet. She said, are you the one I'm looking at that's talking about Jesus is a myth and never existed? I said, yes. Yes, I am. And you know how she responded? Hallelujah. That's what she said. Hallelujah. All right? Now, and this is a Gentile, 50 years old. Lives on the West Coast. Now, and that's how she responded. Hallelujah. We talked for about 50 minutes. And she wanted to know, she said, can I call you back someday? I said, sure. You see what I'm saying? So in her eyes, and there's others, Gentiles, Israelites, males, females, young, older, you follow what I'm saying? They think I'm wonderful. Okay?
That's how they like, boy, you something else, okay? People have said that to me. And I don't, it don't go to my head. Y'all didn't say it. This is what they're going to say. Because they seeking him. I'm just the representative. All right? So now, what does it say? Counselor. Hey, I counsel people all the time. All the time. Like this young sister I just told you that called from Baltimore, just started calling. She called the other day, she disrupted, again, she's disrupting, I'm counseling her. Don't beat yourself up like that. You understand? Even though I know she's contrite, but you're supposed to be contrite. I cited that to her. Like I cited it to all y'all. It's up on the site. You understand? We're supposed to be contrite. So you're going to beat yourself up to a degree, but don't beat yourself down. That's why you don't hear me. You know what I mean? You don't hear me beating people down, you know what I'm saying, unless they reveal themselves as a snake, as a deceiver, as a liar. See? And when they like that, then, I tie into them. I don't care who it is. Let the chips fall where they may. I don't care if they're alive or dead. Don't mean nothing to me. Simple as that. I don't respect persons in judgment. Check the law and see that and it say that. I do not respect persons in judgment, alive or dead. All right? So I counsel people. All right? He's going to be called the mighty God. That's by people, in other words, El Shaddai. That's the people who lack understanding. Because I'm not that. I'm a representative of Yahweh, El Shaddai, the mighty strong one, the strong and almighty. I'm a representative, but I'm not him. But I represent him. Okay? The everlasting Father. Again, people who don't understand. I represent the everlasting Father, but I'm not him. See, and again, you always got to remember, we're dealing with a transliteration. Possibly in the original, it did say the representative of El Shaddai, the representative of the everlasting Father. We're dealing with a translation. You got to remember, Esau has tailored these places, certain places like this, to try to make you think it's talking about that main idol of Christianity. The supposed Son of God. You follow me? The present day Baal. You hear what I said? The present day Baal. That's why Yah again has got that what he's got in Malachi chapter 4. Eliah, the prophet, shall direct the children to the Father. And intercess for the children to the Father, and the Father to the children. To pray and ask Yah to take all of those, again, as I said earlier today. You understand? All those ones of the middle passage to this very day, who have died, who's no deceit in their mouth. They had done no violence. But he's asking Yah to take their soul as an offering for sin and turn his heart back again to his people. For his holy name's sake, for Jerusalem, for the holy seed's sake, and for the sake of his servants who are serving him right now and those to come. Not only of his people, but of other people who seek peace, who seek righteousness, who seek truth, who seek salvation from up under this demonic, satanic, oppressive system that Yah has allowed to be established by the Illuminated Amalekite International Bank and Edomite, led by the house of Rothschild. Okay? And again, as I touched on earlier, is he going to be called the Prince of War to that person who get you some guns and some bombs and some bunkers? No, he's going to be called the Prince of Peace, because that's what the way of Yah is. It ushers in peace to the world. And you got many people in this world today who seek peace. Now the thing is how much they seek it. Do they seek it enough, and do they desire it enough to turn to Yahweh, the King, and submit to their Creator with all their heart and all their soul, and to put away nonsense, to put away the idols and images and the ideologies of man, to stop eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and eat of the tree of life, Yahweh? Do they desire peace, truth, righteousness, salvation enough to do that? Now that's what we're gonna see. That's what we're gonna find out. What's next?
Oh man, we were talking about the history of things they saw there, like the Pope.
Okay, you said what books of history? Again, there are different books.
None Dare Call It Conspiracy. Fourth Reich of the Rich. None Dare Call It Conspiracy by Gary Allen. Fourth Reich of the Rich and Descent into Slavery by Des Griffiths. The Midnight Messenger. I've mentioned some of these books in the past. I've even shown some of them. In shows that we did with Mark Sims. Any good history books, and I mean real history books, and the older the better. But again, Pawns in the Game, Red Fog of America by William Guy Carr, The World Order by Eustace Mullins, The Secrets of the Federal Reserve by Eustace Mullins. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion by Victor Marsden, Marsden. You've got others. You got some that's come out here not long ago. You know what I'm saying? Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins. He's got another one since then. Diplomacy by Deception and the Committee of 300 by Dr. John Coleman. And there's some others, but that should get you started. Okay, also don't leave out one by Clinton's mentor, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Wait just a minute.
Quigley.
Okay, Tragedy and Hope by Carroll Quigley. He was the mentor to Bill Clinton, the ex-president, Hillary's husband. All right, Carroll Quigley, Tragedy and Hope. And that'll get you started. And you get those books and check them out. And if you got any more, you go back and you call me back and I can give you some more.
Y'all will say Creature from Jekyll Island.
Oh yeah, well, The Creature from Jekyll Island is really a rehash of Secrets of the Federal Reserve by Eustace Mullins. Secrets of the Federal Reserve is the consummate book about how the Federal Reserve was set up, and it's a lot more in there. Okay, but Griffins took that Creature from Jekyll Island is basically a plagiarism of Secrets of the Federal Reserve. And if you can get that Secrets of the Federal Reserve, you want it in hardback if you can get it. Plus, other books like Great Men of Color by J.A. Rogers. We got all the J.A. Rogers works here. Everything he's ever done, we got it here. All right, like Superman, the Man, Sex and Race. Some of this stuff I haven't even read. I've skimmed through it. Africa's Gift to America, but all this stuff, generally it has a little something in it here and there, that you can excise from it and put together, helps you, give you a better insight in on the book, just like the Great Men of Color Volume 1, that's when y'all allowed me to be able to hook up Hatshepsut is the princess that took Moses out the water. Okay, and helps give you insight on why everybody knew who Moses was, but couldn't nobody do nothing about it because Hatshepsut was running the show. Her daddy, Tutmosis I, was the king. You understand? He was the pharaoh at the time, but she was running him because he was weak-minded for her. He doted on her. He let her have her way. That's why she was able to pull that one. When he done passed the edict to kill all the male children, she could pull that one from the water and say, hey, daddy, I want to keep this. And he said, all right, baby. You do want that one, you can have that one. And that was the one. That was the one. Everybody knew who Moses was. Moses knew who he was. That's why when you read the book, what does it say? It said that when people don't understand. When Hatshepsut was killed by her husband brother, Tutmosis III, and he done took control, this is like 1483. All right? You hear me? 1483 BCE. Moses was approximately 37 years old. He was born in 1520. See, now he had the life easy go for 37 years. But when his, when his adopted mother, you understand, then been killed, his whole life changed. Now over the next 3 years, you follow what I'm saying? His whole life done changed. Because Thutmose III didn't care nothing about him per se. You understand what I'm saying? So now it's rougher on him. Now he's starting to experience what the rest of his brothers have been experiencing. You follow me? Now when he get to be 40 years old, you follow me? When he looked and saw this Egyptian beating on one of his own people, the frustration over 3 years then built up in him so great, he took his frustrations out on the Egyptian and killed him. And that's when he had to run for his life. That brings down the curtain on the first 40 years of Moses' life. Then the next 40 years he's in Midian. Now Moses becomes real Moses. He changes to a great degree. Now he becomes meek, humble. And now he's ready after 40 years. And when he gets to be 80 years old, he's ready to hear Yah's message. In essence, but he really wasn't ready. He didn't want to do it. We know that. But again, when Yah calls you to do something, you got to do it. And then, like I've said in the past, not long ago, when you get to that 5th chapter, Exodus, at the end, is after that situation, from that point on, Moses gets stronger and stronger in Yah from that point on. And then he died at 120. Not that he as it says, his eyes were not dim, his natural forces were not abated. It's just that he couldn't go no further because many of the people were worshiping Moses. Just like I indicated with the person who put up about Yeshaya 9 verse 6. See, you got to understand. People from a lack of understanding, from a lack of illumination, they're going, it gets to a point, they're going to refer to me as El Shaddai or the everlasting Father, but I'm not that. And I have to make that plain to them. You follow me? I got to always remember that so I don't get caught in no snare. What's next? Okay.
Valley of the Dry Bones, would you put that in there? Valley of books to read, recommended books to read.
Okay, y'all said Valley of the Dry Bones. You can pick that up by Rudolph Windsor. Okay? But I saw that about, what happened? Okay, why doesn't Mark Sims do the shows anymore? Again, Mark doesn't do the shows. Y'all started that and y'all ended that. That's how I look at that. Simple as that. No problem. Who knows? Mark has told me not long ago, and I mentioned it, last time that he told me, he said, how did he put it? It's something, I forgot just how he put it now. But the way he said it to me, I can't remember just how he put it now, but the way he said it to me, I told him, I said, well, Mark, when that happens, we'll be gone. He said something about, I can't remember just how he put it, but he had it discombobulated, because I told him, I said, well, when that happens, Mark, we'll be gone. We'll be in the land. So then he changed. He said, well, when, I think he said, well, when what you said about the Edomites, when that happened, then we'll do another show. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever y'all decide, because all that was from Yah. All right, Balfour Declaration is how they got the land research.
Man, he researched that. That's how he got.
Well, again, the Balfour Declaration, that was implemented by the Illuminati Edomite. They made Jerusalem an international city where nobody could lay claim to it. And they said that the Edomites would have their side, you understand, and east, West Jerusalem. I mean, the west of Jerusalem, and the Palestinians, so-called Palestinians, would have, east of Jerusalem. But nobody could actually lay claim to the city because the city was to be international. And the Illuminati Edomite, from what I can see, he did that, you understand, like that at that time because, again, he wanted all those representations of idolatry there. So you get, that's the watchmen, some of the watchmen that you see referred to in Yeshaya chapter 52. You understand? You got the three great religions represented. They got stuff represented there in Jerusalem. You follow me? And all the people who lay claim to whether they into Judaism, whatever shape, form, or fashion, they into Christianity, whatever shape, form, or fashion, they into Islam, whatever shape, form, or fashion, they are all watchmen because they all saying that they're serving the God of Abraham, which they're not. Then you got the Israelites, right, who know they Israel, right, and whatever phase they in, you understand, or whatever they doing, if they not in harmony with Yah, then they're watchmen too. So Yah says the watchman shall see eye to eye when he brings again Zion, Jerusalem. What's next? Okay, will our brothers and sisters be brought out of prison to return to the land? No! The only way they're going to get out of prison house if they turn to Yah and submit and obey. Like I said earlier about, you understand, Konya. He spent 37 years after he humbled himself and submitted and really humbled himself, then Yah eventually brought him out. Okay? And it's simple as that. You understand? Yah can bring you out of anywhere if you turn to him and submit and obey. But if they just locked up and they haven't turned to Yah, that's where they're going to be. I direct you to this. Go to Yeshaya chapter 14 and see what Yah says there about this man here and what's going to happen when Yah destroys the daughter of Babylon, how he's going to be known as the man that has destroyed the cities of the earth, and how he's going to be known as he who did not open the doors of the prison houses. So if you get locked up for any extended period of time now, you understand, if you don't turn to Yah, and you go, you got some time, I would say definitely, if you got like a 15, 20 year stint, you in trouble. Okay? And I'm talking about from now. If you got a little time on you, 15 or 20 years or more, and you supposed to be there, if you don't turn to, you in trouble, deep trouble, because more than likely that's where you're gonna be when the bombs, when the nuclear missiles and the space station open up on this bad boy, known as the daughter of Babylon, United States of America. What's next?
Malcolm sent a private message about she thinks the Valley of the Dry Bones pushes the good spell.
Okay, well, again, so they say that the valleys, Yadita's saying that, the Valley of the Dry Bones pushes the good spell. That could be true. I've never really read all of the Valley of the Dry Bones really at all. I just kind of briefed through it. I think Yada has that book. She's read it. I haven't.
So
that deep, and Yada says it's been so long she don't really remember. But the deal is, again, some of these other, just like Des Griffins, for instance, the Midnight Messenger, I've spoken, he pushes this Christianity all the time. I can read his papers and whatnot, and the different people who write articles in his paper, because I can discern when he started pushing the garbage from the truth. But now, somebody who's basically, caught kind of between the Book of Remembrance and the Good Spell, the New Testament, you might have a little problem. But, it doesn't present a problem to me. But again, it's all what you can extract from a thing. I mean, some things, because many of these authors and these books, when you read them, they pushing different stuff or they intimate different things. You've got to discern that, and you got to be able to work yourself through that to extract what's needed, what you need to fill out the picture of the Most High. Okay? I mean, just like J.A. Rogers, he operates from the perspective of black, but I understand that. So when I read any of his stuff, that doesn't affect me, because I know where he's coming from. And it's the same with many of these different authors, but some are just totally pinpointed on Esau. They don't call him Esau. They'll call him the international bankers. You understand? Some books call him the Illuminati. Okay, some of them call him the Round Table Group. You follow me? But you got to discern these books when you read them. Just like the book. What's next? Yahudah, what time frame was Adam created? I once read that it was in 3986 BCE. I've never tried to figure it out time-wise like that, by dates. I've never tried to figure that out. Simple as that. Now, how somebody else came to that, I couldn't even tell you. When people come with that, it makes me think they in some of these books of Esau. Like Jubilees or Jasher or Enoch or the Apocrypha, some of that nonsense. But to me, that's neither here nor there. it doesn't have any relevance to me. What's next? Okay, a lot of Israelite groups in the good spell love Rudolph Windsor's books. Okay, well, that's you know, that's what they like. I mean, you know, I guess they got their reasons, but if they into the good spell, they in trouble. That's the best thing I can tell you, big time. And again, I just, you know, I cite you real concise. Ezekiel chapter 14. You into that good spell, Yah's not going to allow you to understand His message. He's just not going to allow you to do that. I have family members serving life sentences. Are you saying they won't be able to return to the land if they have turned to Yah? If they turn to Yah with all their heart and soul, like I just said a minute ago, brother, Yah will open them doors up. Just like He did for Konya, Yekaniah. Just like He did for him after 37 years. But I say this again, I'll say it again. If you got people that's locked up, they don't have 37 years. I can tell you that for sure. Okay? Like I said, you know, even if they got life, if they turn to Yah with all their heart and soul and really humble themselves and get in harmony with Yah, Yah will open up them doors some kind of way and let them up out of there. Ain't nothing too hard for Yah. Okay? But you understand? They better be truly committed and submitted. Simple as that. You can't run no game on Yah. You can't play Yah. Alright? What's next? That's it? Alright. It's been a good session. A long one, but hopefully enlightening to everybody, including myself and Yada. Alright? But again, all you out there, read, study, pray, and do. Stay focused. And again, you have any questions, you always feel free to call. Okay? Don't call tonight, though. All right? Because my mouth is dry. I'm going to rest the rest of the evening. Don't call tonight. You can start calling me tomorrow after 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay? That's Central Time. All right? Okay. Y'all bless everybody out there. For Yah righteousness, Jerusalem, and the Holy Seed. Y'all bless. Peace.